Chapter 121. Leo. Still very much a kitten despite his terrifying potential. "Papa, why won't the other Leo play with me?" he asked with adorable frustration. "That's your reflection, like seeing yourself in water," Noah explained gently. Leo studied his reflection with newfound understanding, then deliberately made faces to watch the image copy his expressions. Smart enough to understand mirrors immediately. Definitely more intelligent than regular cats. Looking at his new companion, Noah thought of inspecting him. Maybe he also has a status just like me. Pet number 1 Leo. Growth cub. Rank novice. Potential adept. Skills. Size manipulation locked. Leo has the latent ability to shift his physical size, ranging from a small kitten to a full-grown lion with a majestic mane. This skill remains locked. Leo must reach adolescent growth. Claw sweep. Leo unleashes a powerful sweeping strike with his claws, dealing heavy damage to anything in his path. Size manipulation. Noah had been worrying about the cub's size. Once he grows up, it would be difficult to keep him in the roleplay as a domestic cat, which meant Leo would be unable to stay on Earth with him, except in the house. However, with the size manipulation skill, the issue had been resolved. Noah's eyes widened with interest as he processed Leo's incredible potential. The cub stage was clearly just the beginning. His companion would eventually possess abilities that could rival Valeria. Adept-level potential with size-changing abilities. That's incredible. The locked skills suggested Leo's development would unlock increasingly powerful capabilities as he matured. Even his current ability, Claw Sweep, indicated combat effectiveness that belied his adorable appearance. He's going to become formidable. He's already as strong as I, and he was just born. System. How does Leo grow and develop his abilities? Golden mane lions develop through feeding and hunting experiences. As natural predators, they must engage in combat to unlock their full potential. Magical enhancement also accelerates this process significantly. Hunting and feeding. He needs actual combat experience to grow stronger. Noah nodded with understanding. Leo wasn't just a pet. He was a warrior in training who required proper nutrition and combat experience to reach his potential. Time to give him the best possible start. Staring at his cute companion, who was now attempting to catch his own tail with typical kitten enthusiasm, Noah made a decision that felt both generous and practical. "I'm not going to be selfish. He deserves the best enhancement I can provide." Noah retrieved one of his remaining protein bars, unwrapping it with the same care he'd used for his own consumption. Leo's nose immediately twitched with interest as magical scents filled the air. "Leo, try this," Noah offered, breaking the bar into manageable pieces. "If it can permanently enhance humans, imagine what it might do for a magical creature." Leo approached the protein bar with cautious curiosity, sniffing each piece before taking delicate bites. His reaction was immediate and intense, purring like a contented house cat while his eyes closed in obvious pleasure. "Papa, this tastes like so good," Leo declared between satisfied purrs. He can taste the magical enhancement. Fascinating. The purring continued as Leo consumed every piece, his tiny body vibrating with contentment. But as the final bite disappeared, something unexpected began happening. Wait, something's changing about him. Leo's golden fur started glowing brighter, and his body began expanding with visible growth that defied normal growth means. Within minutes, the kitten-sized creature had grown to puppy proportions. "He's getting bigger, much bigger. Papa, I feel stronger. And bigger." Leo's voice carried excitement rather than alarm. The protein bar somehow triggered accelerated growth. He's advanced to the next development stage. Confused by the rapid transformation, Noah immediately consulted the system for an explanation. "System, what just happened to Leo?" The protein bar contained sufficient concentrated energy to advance Leo from cub to juvenile growth stage. Golden mane lions can absorb enhancement more efficiently than other species due to their magical nature. Juvenile stage already. That protein bar was incredibly effective. Noah focused his inspection ability on Leo again, curious about his enhanced status. Pet number 1 Leo. Growth juvenile. Rank apprentice. Potential adept. Skills. Size manipulation locked. Leo has the latent ability to shift his physical size, ranging from a small kitten to a full-grown lion with a majestic mane. This skill remains locked. Leo must reach adolescent growth. Claw sweep. Leo unleashes a powerful sweeping strike with his claws, dealing heavy damage to anything in his path. Roar. Leo can produce an intimidating roar that may cause fear or hesitation in weaker opponents. Apprentice rank and a new skill. The growth acceleration is incredible. Leo's transformation was remarkable. His golden fur had developed richer color, and his movements were clearly more coordinated. The consumption of the protein bar made his growth look like a time skip. He went from newborn kitten to juvenile lion in minutes. That's development on an unprecedented scale. Papa, I feel so much stronger, Leo announced, demonstrating his enhanced agility by leaping onto Noah's counter with perfect agility. His physical capabilities multiplied dramatically. That protein bar investment paid incredible dividends. The new roar ability suggested Leo was developing the intimidation factors that would make him effective in actual combat situations. Even his claw sweep would carry more force at his increased size. Combat-ready companion in record time. Some investments exceed all expectations. Leo explored his expanded body with obvious delight, testing his enhanced strength by playfully swatting at empty air with movements that generated visible force. Still playful like a kitten, but now with actual combat potential. Papa, can we go hunting? I want to try my new powers. Please, please, Leo asked with eager anticipation. The lion was clearly sound in the way he was acting. Spoken like a true lion, Leo. We shall go hunting together. Noah smiled at the little lion, stroking his soft, golden fur. Leo rubbed his head against Noah's hand in happiness. He's ready for real combat experience. Time to see what juvenile golden mane lions can accomplish. Chapter 122. Going on a Hunt. Host: Noah Carter. Age 28. Shop Level 2. Daily revenue $135,000. Current assets $549,240.21. Shop points 1990. Attributes: Strength 30, Vitality 4, Intelligence 20, Agility 20. Skills: Swordsmanship Level 6, Mana Control Level 5, Aura Level 5, Wind Manipulation Level 4, Surviving on Ramen Level 3, Cooking Level 2, Programming Level 2, Gaming Level 2, Finance Level 2. Auto Iced Tea Maker Level 3. Production rate 2 iced teas every hour. Max stock 48. Progress 100/200. Auto Baker Level 3. Production rate 4 loaves every hour. Max stock 48. Progress 101/200. Auto Protein Bar Level 1. Production rate 1 bar every 2 hours. Max stock 12. Progress 4/100. Checking his status, Noah's current assets had broken through $500,000. Seeing his substantial wealth that would keep increasing day by day, Noah smiled. He had sold his stocks for the day, although the protein bar was more difficult to sell due to the restrictions he had placed. Noah had managed to sell 4. One had been sold to Lola, the other to Vex, and the last 2 were for an apprentice rank individual and a novice rank individual. From the sales, Noah was able to amass Leo's egg and a whopping 900 golden coins. Whilst I want to save up for the idle room, I think getting the energy drink would help me in the long term. I can amass money from the energy drink to help me gain it faster for the idle room. With his choice made, Noah decided to buy it. Item 2: Energy Drink. Price $300,000. Effect: increases agility attribute by 50% for 20 minutes. Permanently increases agility attribute by 10 upon first consumption. Although it hurt him to part with his money so quickly, it had to be done. Do you have successfully purchased the item energy drink? The energy drink appeared on the shelf in the drink section alongside the iced tea. With the energy drink bought, Noah checked his new balance before heading out on a hunt with the eager Leo. Current assets, $249,240.21. That's not too bad. 200 grand is still some decent money, Noah consoled himself. He knew that it was an investment. Buying another item was an investment, and he had to get used to that feeling. After all, he was bound to keep repeating it. Noah and Leo stepped out of the store into Sin City's afternoon bustle. The Ed brothers stood at the door like professional bodyguards, immediately standing at attention when they spotted Noah. They looked dedicated to their job. Clearly, the oath had done its magic. Noah smiled and continued toward the city gates with Leo bounding beside him. The juvenile lion's excitement was infectious, his golden fur catching sunlight as he moved, making him look more majestic. Time to test Leo's combat capabilities properly. The Crimson Mountains welcomed them with a familiar red-tinged landscape and the presence of monsters that would help Leo's body development. I will make him start with the basics, then work up to real threats, even if he was an apprentice-rank monster. Papa, where are we going? Leo asked, his blue eyes bright with anticipation. Hunting grounds. Time to test your new strength. Blop, blop, blop. The first slimes appeared near the entrance, their innocent bouncing providing perfect introductory targets for Leo's combat debut. These are slimes, Noah explained. Good practice for beginners. Leo studied the blue creatures with predatory focus that transformed his cute appearance into something approaching dangerous. He's analyzing them like a natural hunter. They look weak, Papa. Without warning, Leo pounced. His claw sweep carved through the first slime with devastating efficiency, cutting the core cleanly in half. Blop splat. The creature dissolved instantly. Too easy, Leo declared with obvious disappointment. I want stronger opponents. Already bored with Tier 0 creatures. Well, that was to be expected. He is current at Tier 2 after all. They progressed to the beetle territory, where chitinous shapes moved with more aggressive intent. BZZT. BZZT. These look better, Leo observed, his tail lashing with excitement. The first beetle attempted a pincer attack, but Leo's enhanced reflexes made the creature seem sluggish. Another claw sweep removed its head completely. One strike, one kill. Apprentice rank power in action. Still too weak, Papa. I want real challenges. He's outgrown beginner monsters despite being just born. I wanted to test his instincts, but it seems that he's really better than I thought. Time for Tier 1 opponents. The Firefly territory stretched ahead with thermal vents promising more formidable opposition. BZZT. 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 3 fireflies rose with coordinated aggression, their wings creating that familiar maddening buzz. Now we're talking. Leo's excitement peaked as he faced genuinely dangerous opponents. But instead of engaging physically, Leo drew himself up to his full juvenile height and released his new ability. Roar. The sound that emerged wasn't cute kitten noise. It was primal predator dominance that echoed off the air. BZZT. The firefly's wings faltered as fear overwhelmed their combat instincts. All 3 creatures dropped from the air, trembling on the ground like leaves in a hurricane. His roar ability is incredibly effective. Fear-based crowd control. Papa, they're scared of me, Leo said with obvious pride. Noah's mouth twitched as he processed what had just occurred. The roar hadn't been directed at him, but even as a bystander, the sound had made his reflexes jump with instinctive alarm. Luckily, the roar wasn't directed at me, otherwise I probably would have dropped too. That roar was genuinely terrifying. Noah turned toward his bodyguards to check their reactions, finding all 3 Ed brothers visibly shivering despite their normal composure. Their hands trembled on their weapon hilts, and their eyes carried the wide-eyed look of people who just confronted something far beyond their comfort zone. They're apprentice-rank practitioners, same as Leo's current classification. But clearly, Leo isn't a normal apprentice-rank beast. Ed's scarred face had gone pale, while Ed clutched his staff with white knuckles. Even Eddie, who specialized in stealth, looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Boss," Ed managed through chattering teeth. "Your companion is quite powerful." "Quite powerful, huh?" Chapter 123, Kitten. "He's just getting started," Noah replied, watching Leo prance around the paralyzed fireflies with kitten-like satisfaction. "And he's only juvenile stage. What happens when he reaches adolescent growth?" Leo approached the trembling fireflies with curiosity, his head tilted as he studied their fear response. "Papa, why are they shaking so much? Your roar is very impressive, Leo. Maybe use it more carefully around friends. Need to establish rules before he accidentally terrorizes allies." Leo nodded with earnest understanding. "I'll be gentle with Papa's friends." The Ed brothers began recovering their composure, though they maintained noticeably more distance from Leo than before. Professional bodyguards or not, instinctive fear was hard to override. One of the paralyzed fireflies attempted to crawl away, its wings still too unsteady for flight. Leo watched with interest but didn't pursue. "Should I catch them, Papa? If you want to, go ahead." Noah smiled, curious to see his companion's hunting instincts in action. Time to see what juvenile golden mane lions do to finish opponents. Leo's demeanor shifted immediately from playful kitten to focused predator. His movements became fluid and purposeful as he stalked the trembling fireflies with natural hunting grace. Bzzzt, bzzzt. The weakened sounds of their wings made pathetic attempts at escape, but Leo's enhanced speed made evasion impossible. His claw sweep finished each creature with no effort, targeting vital points with instinctive knowledge. 3 dead fireflies in under 10 seconds. With the hunt completed, Leo bounded back toward Noah with obvious satisfaction. The juvenile lion launched himself through the air with perfect confidence that his papa would catch him. "Here he comes." Noah's arms caught Leo, feeling the warm weight of magical creature settling into his arms. The lion's purring vibrated through his chest as he stroked the impossibly soft golden fur. "Still acts like a kitten despite being a lethal predator." "Did you enjoy yourself, Leo?" Noah asked, scratching behind ears that flicked with contentment. "Yes. Thank you, Papa." Leo's blue eyes sparkled with happiness. "That was fun. The flying bugs were scared of my voice." Flying bugs. His innocent description of Tier 1 magical creatures. Noah set Leo gently back on the ground, watching his companion immediately begin exploring the thermal vents with curiosity. "All right, it's time for me to show you my skills," Noah announced, drawing the zealous quick blade with fluid motion. "My turn to demonstrate." Leo's ears perked up with immediate attention. "Show me, Papa. Show me your hunting." 3 fresh fireflies emerged from deeper thermal vents, their buzzing announcing their hostile intent as they spotted the intruders in their territory. "Bzzzt, bzzzt, bzzzt. Watch carefully, Leo. This is how humans fight. Time to combine all my skills into coordinated combat." Noah activated his aura immediately, feeling mana flow through his enhanced musculature like liquid fire. He could feel his mana spread through his body, amplifying his strength and various attributes, increasing his combat effectiveness. Wind began swirling around his blade as elemental manipulation joined the enhancement matrix. The zealous quick blade hummed with contained atmospheric force that made the air itself seem more responsive. The first firefly dove with a pincer attack aimed at his head, but Noah's combined enhancements made its assault seem sluggish. He sidestepped while launching a wind blade that carved deep gashes across chitinous armor. "Papa is fast," Leo called from his observation position. The second firefly attempted flame breath while its companion attacked from the flank. Noah's eyes tracked both threats simultaneously. His consciousness expanded to encompass multiple danger sources. They are performing a coordinated assault. This is the perfect opportunity to practice my new techniques. He rolled beneath the flame stream while channeling wind magic into a defensive barrier that dispersed the magical fire harmlessly. His counterattack came in the form of an aura-enhanced leap that carried him within striking range. His blade, empowered by both aura and wind manipulation, carved through the firefly's wing structure with no resistance. The creature crashed to the ground, its flight capabilities permanently disabled. With one opponent grounded, Noah gained an advantage against the fireflies. Papa fights like the wind. Leo's commentary carried genuine admiration. The final firefly attempted a desperate charge, its pincers spread wide for a crushing assault. But Noah's reflexes and speed made perfect timing possible. Your mana control skill has leveled up to level 6. The notification blazed across his vision as his magical integration reached new heights. The sensation was immediate, and he felt his mana purity increase alongside his control over its effects. Level 6 mana control. Another threshold crossed. But the advancement wasn't finished. As Noah's wind manipulation reached peak coordination with his other abilities, another breakthrough occurred. Your wind manipulation skill has leveled up to level 5. Level 5. Major milestone for elemental magic. The moment the skill advanced, Noah felt new knowledge flooding his consciousness. Not just improved control over existing techniques, but entirely new applications that had been locked behind the level barrier. Inherent skill unlocked. Something new to work with. Following instinctive understanding, Noah extended his hand toward the charging firefly and released a concentrated burst of wind that he somehow knew how to create. Gust. That's what this technique is called. The wind burst struck the firefly with perfect timing, interrupting its charge and sending it tumbling through the air. The creature's momentum was completely negated, leaving it vulnerable to Noah's finishing strike. Short-range wind burst that knocks back enemies and interrupts attacks. Incredibly useful for combat control. His aura-enhanced blade completed the encounter, carving through the disoriented creature with devastating effectiveness. Victory. 3 fireflies defeated through coordinated skill application. Papa is amazing. Leo bounded around the battlefield with obvious excitement. You move like the wind and strike like thunder. Wind and thunder. He's developing quite the poetic vocabulary. Noah sheathed his weapon with satisfaction that transcended mere victory. The combat had demonstrated how his various skills were beginning to work in harmony rather than as separate abilities. Aura, wind magic, and swordsmanship integrating into a unified combat style. The Ed brothers approached with respect for their employer's personal capabilities. The Gust technique, Noah murmured, testing the name while feeling its potential applications. Perfect for controlling enemy positioning. Chapter 124. An Unexpected Guest. Host, Noah Carter. Age 28. Shop level 2. Daily revenue $135,000. Current assets $249,240.21. Shop points 1990. Attributes: strength 30, vitality 4, intelligence 20, agility 20. Skills: swordsmanship level 6, mana control level 6, aura level 5, wind manipulation level 5, surviving on ramen level 3, cooking level 2, programming level 2, gaming level 2, finance level 2. All right, Leo, let's go back. Noah stroked the little lion's golden fur and began their journey back to the shop. Successful training session. Leo's combat capabilities are insane. 2 of my skills have advanced, and everything is proceeding perfectly. On their way back, Noah glanced toward the familiar grass spot where Lola had been lounging earlier. Part of him hoped to find the succubus there again. He needed her help organizing another auction for the energy drink. No sign of her. She must be dealing with whatever mysterious business keeps master-level demons busy. Not dwelling on Lola's absence, Noah continued toward Sin City with Leo bounding beside him and the Ed brothers maintaining their professional formation. Back to business. I will work for 2 or so hours before returning to Earth. But as they approached the shop's location, Noah's vision caught sight of something that made his eyes widen. A familiar figure stood before his entrance with an entourage. Oh no. Noah's eyes widened as recognition hit him like a physical blow. Prince Malphas waited outside his shop with several royal guards positioned in formation. They were clearly there for his shop. The prince is here, outside my shop with his guards. This can't be good. The Ed brothers immediately straightened, their faces draining of color as they processed the implications. Royal displeasure could end their lives regardless of the magical oath protection. For the prince to wait outside the shop either meant that he was dissatisfied or satisfied with something. Otherwise, he would simply send one of his guards to deal with it. What if the prince wants to fight our employer? We would be dead either way, from the prince or from oath violation of not protecting our employer. The Ed brothers began praying silently that whatever brought Prince Malphas here could be resolved without violence. Please don't let this escalate. Please don't let this escalate. Leo sensed the tension immediately, his playful demeanor shifting to something approaching protective alertness. The juvenile lion's instincts recognized a potential threat to his papa. Noah approached with careful steps, his mind racing through possible reasons for royal attention. Had the protein bar not met his expectations? Was there some violation of demon commercial law he wasn't aware of? Stay calm. Professional courtesy. Don't give him any reason to escalate whatever this is about. I also need to lead whatever this is inside my store. Inside I'm invincible. He won't be able to do anything to me, no matter what his issue is. Prince Malphas, it's a pleasure to meet you outside my store, Noah said with a respectful nod. Prince Malphas turned toward him with a smile on his face. His expression seemed friendly enough, but something underneath suggested there were some hidden complications. Likewise, Mr. Noah, although I must admit, I'm slightly upset. The prince replied with royal bearing that made every word feel significant. A demon prince being upset with a human. That's never a good thing. Why, Your Highness? Noah asked, although he had a hunch. The prince's expression shifted to something approaching disappointment mixed with calculation. I paid a wind orb worth 1,300 golden coins for a product I believed to be extinct. Imagine my surprise when I discovered the same item available in abundance at your shop. I was right. He thinks I scammed him at the auction. The royal guard's hands drifted toward their weapons with subtle movements that suggested readiness for immediate violence. The Ed brothers noticed this shift and began positioning themselves defensively, although they were crying inwardly. We're dead. Furthermore, the pricing structure you've established makes the auction price almost seem artificially inflated. Prince Malphas continued, his voice surprisingly gentle. He's not wrong, but I can't admit it. Noah nodded with understanding rather than defensiveness. I see the misunderstanding, Your Highness. Noah immediately acknowledged the prince's concerns without admitting any wrongdoing. He was finding a middle ground. The auction price wasn't predetermined, Noah explained, carefully walking towards his store to open it. The final cost resulted from competitive bidding between you and Lady Lola. I never anticipated prices reaching those levels. The auction exceeded everyone's expectations. Even I didn't think it would reach such numbers, and I was the one who told Lola to artificially raise the price. Prince Malphas studied Noah's expression with the calculating gaze of someone accustomed to detecting deception in political contexts. Yet you had multiple units available immediately afterwards. Fair point. From his perspective, it looks like deliberate scarcity manipulation. The auction price included exclusivity and first purchase rights. Noah continued with a diplomatic response. You received the first protein bar available through public sale, along with the prestige of winning a competitive auction. Your Highness, it's known that auctions are mostly used to raise prestige, not that you need a prestige boost. But that's one of the main reasons for auctions alongside rare items. I've never claimed that the item was a one-off. Frame it as a premium service rather than price gouging. The prince's expression suggested he was processing this explanation with consideration rather than immediate dismissal. But his next words carried warning that made the royal guards tense. While that explanation has merit, the perception remains problematic. Royal dignity was involved in that auction. Royal dignity, the most dangerous currency in any monarchy. Leo moved closer to Noah's leg, his juvenile instincts recognizing escalating threat levels. The little lion's presence was comforting but also concerning. Protecting him might require combat against opponents far beyond Leo's current capabilities. If this turns violent, Leo could get hurt trying to defend me. And he isn't immortal. Your Highness, Noah said with genuine respect. I understand your concerns completely. Since you feel this way, I want to ensure you're satisfied with our business relationship. Chapter 125. Solution. The prince's eyebrows rose with interest rather than suspicion. How do you propose to address this situation? He's willing to negotiate rather than simply demanding satisfaction. Good sign. Allow me to demonstrate my commitment to customer satisfaction, Noah replied, gesturing toward his shop entrance. If you would honor me with your presence inside, move the conversation into my territory. Whether he is satisfied or not, he will have to follow my rules then. Prince Malphas considered this invitation while his guards maintained ready positions. The Ed brothers watched every movement with alertness, prepared for violence but hoping for a peaceful resolution. Very well, the prince decided. Let's see what you propose. Inside the shop, Noah gestured toward his transformed establishment with professional pride. The elegant display cases and spacious layout created an atmosphere that spoke to serious magical commerce rather than simple street vendor operations. Time to demonstrate the full scope of my business. Show him this isn't some fly-by-night operation, although it low-key is. Your Highness, allow me to properly introduce my product line. Noah began, moving toward the bread display with showmanship. Prince Malphas followed with interest that seemed genuine rather than merely polite. His royal guards positioned themselves strategically while maintaining respectful distance from the commercial presentation. He's actually curious about my inventory. Good sign. This is our healing bread, Noah explained, indicating the golden loaves that seem to glow with internal warmth. Accelerates natural recovery by 30% while providing superior taste. Start with the foundation products. Build appreciation before revealing the premium items. Although he probably knows them, the prince studied the bread with interest. The enhancement rate remains constant regardless of consumer rank, completely consistent across all magical levels. Lasts for 10 minutes. No diminishing returns. Always a selling point that impresses practitioners. Noah moved to the iced tea display, where the drink inside the glass bottles caught the shop's lighting with prismatic beauty. Mana enhancement beverages. 30% increase to reserves and regeneration rate for 10 minutes. Impressive consistency with your other products, Prince Malphas observed. He's recognizing the pattern. Uniform effectiveness across all items. The protein bar you're familiar with, Noah continued, gesturing toward the display case where several units remained from the day's production. The prince's expression tightened slightly at the reminder of auction complications, but his attention remained focused on the presentation. Still sensitive about the pricing. Need to address that through superior customer service. And finally, Noah paused dramatically. Something exclusive that hasn't appeared at any auction. He approached the energy drink display with ceremony befitting legendary reveals. The container pulsed with contained power that made the air shimmer with potential. This is my bargaining chip. Time to see if agility enhancement creates the same excitement as strength improvement. The energy drink, Noah announced with satisfaction, increases agility attribute by 50% for 20 minutes, plus permanent enhancement of 10 attribute points upon first consumption. Same effect profile as the protein bar, different attribute focus. Perfect complement for combat effectiveness. Prince Malphas's eyes widened with genuine shock as the implications registered. His royal composure cracked slightly as excitement overrode diplomatic restraint. Got his attention. Agility enhancement is just as valuable as strength improvement. Is this the only one? The prince asked with barely contained eagerness. Currently? Yes. My stocks are always on display. Noah replied with calculated honesty. It's the truth. What he can see is what's available right now. The prince studied the energy drink with the intensity of someone evaluating his advantages. Enhanced agility would complement his protein bar's strength improvement perfectly. I want it. How much do you want for it? Shopkeeper Noah. Noah paused, allowing anticipation to build while his mind calculated optimal pricing strategies. This is the moment. I need to price it right and resolve the auction complications permanently. Prince Malphas, unlike the protein bar, this will not be sold easily. Noah began with careful emphasis, creating scarcity perception through future availability rather than current supply. The prince's expression sharpened with understanding. Exclusive access to permanent enhancement carried value beyond simple monetary consideration. He recognizes the implications. First, access to new products before they reach market. The next time this appears in the market could be weeks, months, or years. Noah continued, watching royal interest intensify with each word. Building value through uncertainty. Classic sales psychology. The price will be similar to the protein bar's auction value. What do you think? Same price range as his previous purchase. Consistency in premium pricing. That's fair. Prince Malphas agreed with satisfaction that suggested the pricing met royal expectations. But Noah caught subtle signs that complete satisfaction hadn't been achieved. The prince's posture remained slightly tense, suggesting unresolved concerns about their business relationship. Almost there. Need one more gesture to cement customer loyalty. Don't worry, Prince. The price will be 30% off for the earlier misunderstanding. Noah added with generous magnanimity. Customer service recovery through meaningful discount. Turn complaint into loyalty. This will cost 1,000 golden coins or something equivalent. 1,000 coins instead of 1,300. Significant savings that demonstrate good faith. The prince's expression transformed completely, tension evaporating as satisfaction replaced concern. His smile carried genuine warmth rather than politeness. Excellent. Prince Malphas declared with obvious pleasure. This arrangement addresses my concerns perfectly. The royal guards relaxed visibly as their leader's mood shifted from potential confrontation to successful negotiation. The Ed brothers released breath they hadn't realized they'd been holding. Leo emerged from behind Noah's leg, his juvenile instincts recognizing that the threat level had decreased significantly. The little lion's tail wagged with relief. Shall we complete the transaction? Noah asked with courtesy. The prince nodded with a smile that carried genuine satisfaction rather than diplomatic courtesy. Crisis resolved. Royal customer converted to satisfied buyer. He motioned to one of his guards, a stern-faced demon whose armor gleamed with enchantments. The guard stepped forward, producing a leather pouch that clinked with the unmistakable sound of serious wealth. 1,000 golden coins. $100,000. Chapter 126. The Black Visage. The pouch landed on Noah's counter with satisfying weight, its contents representing both successful crisis resolution and substantial profit margin. Payment in full. No haggling, no complications, just royal resources backing royal decisions. Noah retrieved the energy drink with ceremonial care, handling the container like the legendary artifact it essentially was. The liquid inside pulsed with contained power that made the air itself seem more responsive. Prince Malphas accepted the energy drink with obvious appreciation, immediately transferring it to his personal storage ring rather than consuming it immediately. The magical container vanished into dimensional space. The moment the transaction completed, Noah's system responded with immediate recognition of another major business milestone. Level 1 auto energy drink is now in effect. New daily income stream, $235,000, or equivalent, $235,000 daily. My passive income just doubled. The notification blazed across Noah's consciousness with numbers that redefined his understanding of wealth accumulation. Between the protein bar and energy drink production, his daily passive income was approaching $500,000. A pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Noah. Prince Malphas declared with royal satisfaction. This arrangement resolves all previous concerns. Likewise, Your Highness. Thank you for your understanding. The prince's entourage prepared to depart with the coordinated movements of people accustomed to royal schedules. As the royal entourage left his door, Noah checked on his new automaker capabilities. Just like the protein bar, The automaker had a production rate of 1 energy drink every 2 hours, with a maximum of 12 per day. Not bad. This is pretty good, Noah muttered with satisfaction. Boom! A thunderous explosion erupted outside his shop, the sound so powerful it felt like it would puncture his eardrums. The entire building shook from the magical impact. What the hell is going on? Noah whispered to himself. Leo's golden fur stood completely upright, his juvenile instincts screaming danger warnings. The little lion's blue eyes darted toward the door with obvious alarm. Even Leo knows something's seriously wrong. Noah immediately rushed to his window, peering through the glass to identify the source of magical violence erupting in his peaceful plaza. The scene that greeted him defied comprehension. A figure draped in oversized black cloth engaged Prince Malphas and his 4 royal guards in furious combat. The mysterious attacker's identity was completely concealed, but something about their mask made Noah's blood run cold. This mask! Prince Malphas's voice cut through the chaos with royal authority tinged by genuine concern. Black Visage. You have been quite active recently, I must say. Black Visage. That's not a random street criminal. The cloaked figure laughed with a hoarse voice that carried disturbing amusement. Have I, Your Highness? I just missed your company. Clang. Clang. Steel met steel as the figure engaged all 4 guards simultaneously. Each royal bodyguard was a pseudo-master-level warrior whose combined strength should have overwhelmed any single opponent. Yet Black Visage moved between them like deadly smoke. Whoosh! Fire erupted from the figure's free hand while a short dagger danced through the guards' defensive formations. The combination of magical and physical assault created chaos that even those royal guards struggled to contain. For pseudo-masters versus 1 opponent. And they're losing. Clang. Sizzle. The dagger parried sword strikes while flames forced constant repositioning. Black Visage's combat style was brutally efficient. Every movement served multiple purposes. Lola. What are you doing? Prince Malphas watched his bodyguards falter with royal frustration that overcame tactical wisdom. His pride demanded action despite obvious personal risk. Your Highness, escape while we hold them, one guard shouted through gritted teeth. Crash. Another fire explosion sent 2 guards stumbling backwards, their formations completely disrupted. Black Visage pressed the advantage with relentless aggression. The prince's guards are outmatched. But instead of retreating, Prince Malphas reached for his storage ring with determination. Royal dignity was at stake. He couldn't flee forever. His royal family had been constantly targeted by this Black Visage. He's going for the energy drink. He's actually going to consume it mid-combat. The container materialized in his hands, and without hesitation, the prince drained its contents in a single gulp. The transformation was immediate and dramatic. His agility increased rapidly as the content of the energy drink flooded through his physique like liquid lightning, multiplying his speed and reflexes beyond his normal capabilities. The 50% boost stacked atop his already formidable base attributes. Black Visage's eyes widened with obvious surprise as they sensed the prince's dramatic power increase. For the first time since combat began, the mysterious attacker seemed genuinely shocked. Lola clearly didn't expect the agility enhancement. The prince just gained a significant advantage. Those hidden eyes swept toward Noah's shop with unmistakable recognition before snapping back to the enhanced prince. Damn it, Lola. I didn't know you were going to attack him, right after he buys my energy drink. Interesting development, Black Visage murmured with that disturbing hoarse voice. Whoosh! Clang! The prince joined combat with supernatural speed. Enhanced agility allowed him to match Black Visage's previously overwhelming tempo alongside his guards. Noah pressed against his window, torn between fascination and terror. The battle raged directly outside his shop, with magical forces that could easily destroy his entire establishment. Should I help her? But how? How am I meant to help this succubus? Leo whimpered beside him, clearly sensing his papa's distress while struggling with his own protective instincts. Sizzle. Clang. Boom. The battle intensified as enhanced royal forces pressed their temporary advantage. But Black Visage adapted quickly, their tactics shifting to account for improved opposition. Noah watched in growing horror as the battle escalated beyond anything his current abilities could handle. This was completely above his pay grade. Even if he wanted to help Lola, it would be suicide. He'd basically be asking to get himself killed. For Pseudomasters plus an enhanced prince versus one opponent. I'd last about a millisecond in that chaos. People began fleeing the plaza in panic, their screams adding to the cacophony of magical combat. In the distance, more guards could be seen approaching at a run, their armor glinting as reinforcements rushed toward the battle. Chapter 127, Lola against the prince. She's going to be overwhelmed. Even Lola can't handle those odds indefinitely. Noah gritted his teeth and made a decision that defied every survival instinct he possessed. His hand moved to the shop door. This is the only way I could help her. Don't be stupid, Lola. Come in, he shouted in his mind. If she gets inside, I can close the door. No one can enter my shop regardless of their rank. I'm invincible in here. But even as he opened the door, Noah knew the complications this would create. Helping Lola meant directly opposing Prince Malphas, the royal customer he'd just successfully appeased. Royal customer versus friend in mortal danger. Some choices have no good options. Clang. Whoosh. Lola's dagger intercepted another strike while flames erupted from her free hand, forcing the nearest guard backwards. Her enhanced senses caught Noah's intention of opening the door despite the chaos around her. Her mouth curved upward under the mask, and she was smiling. This foolish human. He wants to protect me, even if that means his involvement with rebellion against the royal family of Sin City. Still playing with fire? Black visage? Prince Malphas taunted, his enhanced speed allowing him to appear at her flank in the blink of an eye as the guards took on Lola from the front. Sizzle. Lola twisted away from his thrust, her robes smoking where his blade had passed. Your Highness seems energetic today. Indeed I am. I've just been taking care of my food intake lately, the prince replied, pressing his attack with renewed vigor. Perhaps you should invest in better nutrition. Clang. 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 Steel rang against steel as Lola parried a flurry of strikes that would have overwhelmed her without the protein bar's temporary strength enhancement. It's good that I've taken the protein bar, initiating the fight, although Noah's new item wasn't part of the plan. But even enhanced muscles were beginning to fatigue against sustained assault. 5 opponents. Enhanced prince. Limited mana reserves. This wasn't the plan. Growing tired already? Prince Malphas observed as another guard's sword found its mark, opening a gash across her arms. Crimson bloomed through black fabric. Just getting started, Lola gasped, launching a fireball that scattered the converging formation. Lies. She's dying by inches, Noah thought with growing worry. The mysterious black visage, who Noah knew was Lola in disguise, was accumulating damage at an alarming rate. Her black robes showed multiple tears from near-miss attacks, and crimson stains were beginning to seep through the fabric. She's bleeding quite a bit. The disguise is hiding serious injuries. Whoosh! Crash! Another coordinated attack drove her backwards, magical barriers straining against the cumulative assault of the prince and his guards. Prince Malphas's agility had completely disrupted whatever plan she'd originally conceived. You made one critical error, the prince declared, his blade moving at speeds too fast for normal eyes to follow. What error? Planning this at all? Enlighten me, Lola snarled, her dagger catching his thrust by millimeters. You attacked me right after I gained some valuable treasure. His smile carried satisfaction. Poor timing, wouldn't you say? Sizzle. Clang. Fire met steel as Lola's magic clashed with the prince's sword attacks. Each exchange cost her more than she could afford, while the prince seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. But in reality, she was just growing weaker. The protein bar gave me enhanced strength, but he's matching it with enhanced speed and his guards. The combination is devastating. Last chance to surrender, Prince Malphas offered with false magnanimity. My mercy has its limits. How generous. I'll pass. Lola's voice dripped sarcasm despite her deteriorating position. Never surrender. Never give them the satisfaction. Clang. Slash. Another guard's blade found its mark, opening a deep cut across her sword arm. Lola's dagger work became noticeably less precise as blood loss began affecting her coordination. Losing too much blood. Function degrading rapidly. Fire erupted from her hands in waves, forcing a temporary space between herself and the converging royal forces. But each spell depleted her mana reserves while her opponents seemed to have unlimited stamina. 5 against 1. Even master-level power has limits. Your flames are growing weaker. Black visage. One of the guards observed with a mocking tone. Still hot enough to burn you to ashes, Lola retorted, though her flames did indeed seem less intense. I can't maintain this much longer. Clang. Thud. Her dagger parried another assault, but the impact sent jarring pain through her injured sword arm. The disguise concealed the wound, but functionality was compromised rapidly. Coordination failing. Reaction time slowing. Prince Malphas pressed his advantage with fury that transcended. You won't be leaving this place today, Black Visage. The last time you got lucky, not anymore. Lucky? Lola laughed bitterly. I call it incompetence from your side. Then demonstrate this skill, the prince challenged, his enhanced speed creating afterimages as he attacked from multiple angles simultaneously. Impossible speed. The energy drink's effects are incredible. Clang. Clang. Slash. Another coordinated assault forced Lola backwards toward Noah's shop. Her defensive perimeter was shrinking as enhanced opposition overwhelmed her tactical options. Surrounded on all sides, the shop is my only refuge. Retreating already? Prince Malphas taunted. How disappointing. Based on your earlier words, I would have thought you would stay for a little longer. You talk a lot for a nonchalant prince, Lola smirked, though her voice carried exhaustion that belied her defiant words. Whoosh! Crash! Another spell barrage forced her to dive aside, her landing awkward as injured muscles protested violent movement. Blood seeped through multiple tears in her disguise. She had no options but Noah's shop. But entering the shop meant dragging Noah into a conflict with royal authority. Her mind gave her multiple warning signals as magical attacks intensified around her diminishing defensive space. If I enter, Noah becomes an enemy of the crown. If I don't, I die here. Nowhere left to run, Prince Malphas declared with satisfaction. Who said anything about running? Lola snarled, though her stance betrayed her desperation. Blood seeped through multiple tears in her disguise as accumulated damage reached critical levels. Her robes hung in tatters that barely concealed the extent of her injuries. The approaching reinforcements would arrive within seconds, sealing her fate permanently. Prince Malphas and his guards left no room for escape through conventional means. Chapter 128. Lola's End. Another sword strike opened a gash across her shoulder, spinning her toward Noah's doorway with desperate momentum. She gave a quick side glance at Noah who stood there, his face etched with concern and terror. Their eyes met for a fraction of a second. I can't. I won't destroy his life for mine. Lola shook her head with firm determination, even as blood dripped steadily from her wounds. The gesture was subtle but unmistakable. She was refusing his sanctuary. He doesn't deserve to become a target because of my choices. Even if he is the one in the prophecy, he is still too weak. I should be able to survive and meet him in the future. When he is strong enough. You are dead, Black Visage. The declaration was like a royal decree that made the surrounding air seem heavier. Prince Malphas raised his blade, preparing to deliver a killing blow to the wounded figure before him. This ends now. Lola's legs trembled as exhaustion and blood loss took their toll. Her dagger wavered in her weak fingers while magical energy flickered like dying flames around her injured body. I have no more strength. No more options. The royal guards closed their distance, creating an impenetrable circle that eliminated any possibility of escape. Their weapons shone with anticipation of victory. Lola was surrounded, bleeding out and ultimately defeated. Any last words? Prince Malphas inquired with courtesy that made the mockery even more cutting. Lola straightened as much as her injuries allowed, mustering what dignity remained to someone facing execution. Go to hell. The prince's enhanced speed made his final attack a blur of motion that human eyes couldn't track. His blade descended with supernatural force aimed directly at her heart. This is it. This is how it ends. Time seemed to slow as Lola watched death approach with crystal clarity. The sword's edge caught afternoon light, reflecting her own face. Damn it. Maybe I should have listened to that idiot. I guess this is how it ends. Sorry, mother, father. But just as the blade reached its target, strong hands seized her injured body with desperate strength. What? Noah's attributes allowed him to move faster than normal human reflexes should have permitted. His arms wrapped around Lola's robe, pulling her backward with force that sent both of them tumbling through his shop's entrance. Luckily, Lola was barely a meter close to his shop door. Boom! The floor that Lola was on cracked, as the strike landed on stone rather than Lola's body. He saved me. This fool actually saved me. Slam! The shop door crashed shut behind them without delay. The moment it closed, an invisible barrier activated that made the air itself seem more solid. Safe. We're actually safe. Seeing Noah pulling his worst enemy inside, the prince was outraged. His calm demeanor was no longer present. Without waiting, his blade struck the door with enough power to shatter large boulders. But the mystical protection held without even a scratch appearing on its surface. What sorcery is this? The prince demanded, his enhanced strength failing to budge the entrance even slightly. The shop's protection. No one can enter without permission, Noah thought. Outside, the royal guards tested every possible angle of attack. Swords, spells, and enhanced strength all proved equally useless against whatever force protected Noah's establishment. Inside, Noah cradled Lola's injured body while removing her cloaks to check her injuries. Black fabric faded to reveal familiar midnight hair and ruby eyes clouded with pain. She's hurt worse than I thought. Blood seeped through multiple wounds while her breathing came in shallow gasps. The protein bar's enhancement had kept her fighting far longer than should have been possible, but even magical strength had limits. She has critical injuries. She needs healing immediately. You idiot, Lola whispered weakly. You've made yourself an enemy of the crown. She's worried about me even while dying. What a silly succubus. Shut up and let me help you, Noah replied, already reaching for healing bread with urgency. The bread should be able to help her. Leo whimpered from his corner, the juvenile lion's instincts recognizing that his papa's friend was badly hurt. Outside, Prince Malphas's voice carried royal fury that penetrated even the shop's mystical barriers. This isn't over, Black Visage. You cannot hide forever. Shopkeeper Noah, you are committing treason by helping the crown enemy survive. Return me Black Viziger, and I will overlook your act. The royal guards began establishing a perimeter around the shop, their formation suggesting a siege rather than a simple arrest attempt. They're not leaving. We're trapped. Well, who cares? It's not like I need food from the outside or anything. Lola's eyes fluttered as consciousness wavered from blood loss and magical exhaustion. Her grip on Noah's hand weakened with each passing moment. She's fading. Time is running out. Stay with me, Noah urged, breaking the healing bread into manageable pieces. You're going to be fine. It's too late. The healing bread won't be enough. I've lost too much blood. You idiot. You shouldn't have gotten involved. Lola smiled weakly before coughing up more crimson that stained her lips. Her face was growing paler by the second, and so was Noah's as panic set in. She's dying. Actually dying in my arms. Shut up. I will save you, he declared with a grim look on his face, his mind racing through every possible option. Current items won't work. Healing bread is not for critical injuries like the one she is suffering from. Iced tea enhances mana, not life force. Protein bar and energy drink are useless here. His mind processed the crisis with crystalline clarity. Only one avenue remained, the shop slot system that had provided his premium products. The next item. Please let it be something that can save her. Noah's consciousness dove into the system interface with desperate urgency. Item 3. Beef jerky. Description: increases vitality attribute by 50% for 20 minutes. Permanently increases vitality attribute by 10 upon first consumption. Price: $300,000. Chapter 129. A bond, beef jerky. Vitality enhancement. That's exactly what she needs. Noah's eyes widened with relief so intense it felt like a cold shower in the middle of summer. Without a moment's hesitation, he activated the purchase. You have successfully purchased the item, beef jerky? The package materialized on his shelf instantly. Noah lunged for it with speed, tearing open the wrapper with his hands. But as he turned back to Lola, another crisis became apparent. Her consciousness was flickering in and out like a dying flame. Her jaw had gone slack, and swallowing reflexes were failing. She can't chew. She's too weak to process solid food. Lola's breathing grew shallower with each passing second. Blood continued seeping from her wounds despite the healing bread's efforts. With no time for alternatives, Noah made a decision that broke the barriers between him and the succubus. He bit off a piece of the beef jerky and began chewing with determination. Just like the protein bar, the effects would only take place once the item was swallowed, unlike the iced tea and energy drink, which were instantly absorbed. I'm about to feed a succubus mouth to mouth. The jerky softened under his persistent chewing until it reached a consistency that could be swallowed safely. Noah positioned himself over Lola's barely conscious body. Here goes everything. He pressed his lips against hers, transferring the processed beef jerky along with whatever enhancement it contained. The contact was intimate despite its real urgency. He knew that it was only for saving her, but the contact was intimate regardless. Please work. Please save her. Lola's eyes fluttered open as the vitality enhancement hit her system like lightning. Color began returning to her pale features as the beef jerky restored her health. But Noah felt the transfer's cost immediately. Energy drained from his body as Lola's succubus nature responded to intimate contact with instinctive feeding. She's pulling life force. Can't help her nature during physical contact. The irony wasn't lost on him. Saving her life was literally costing him his own vitality. But watching color return to her cheeks made the sacrifice feel worthwhile. Noah immediately withdrew from the exchange. Had he not done so, the succubus might have sucked his life force to death. Lola's breathing stabilized as the beef jerky's permanent and temporary effects took hold. Her wounds began closing at accelerated rates while enhanced vitality restored what blood loss had taken. 20 minutes of enhancement plus 10 permanent vitality points. She's going to survive. Noah, Lola whispered, her voice carrying strength that hadn't been there moments before. Don't talk, just focus on healing, Noah replied softly. Noah knew that he had lost the automaker for the item. He had not sold the item and made Lola use it without paying. This meant that he would need to purchase the item a second time to have the opportunity of getting the automaker. But seeing her get better was worth it. Money could come and go, but Lola's life couldn't. As much as he hated to admit, he had a soft spot for the succubus, just like Alyssa, Kip, and the others in Esta. She's alive. That's all that matters. Outside, Prince Malphas continued his furious assault on the shop's mystical barriers, but Noah barely noticed the noise. 5 minutes passed before Lola stirred back to consciousness, her ruby eyes snapping open with startled disbelief. The wounds that should have killed her were merely fading scars now, and strength flowed through her body where weakness had dominated moments before. I'm alive. How am I alive? Her enhanced senses immediately detected something that made her breath catch. Noah bore the unmistakable mark that only succubi could perceive, the subtle energy signature left behind when her kind drained life force through intimate contact. The mark. I can see it on his lips. Why you? Kissed me? Lola's voice carried shock that transcended her usual playful confidence. Noah's face flushed crimson for a split second before he fought to regain his composure. It's not the way you think it is. I had to feed you something that was chewy and you were unconscious, so I had to transfer the food, more directly. He saved my life through mouth-to-mouth feeding, and I accidentally drained his energy in return. Lola stared at him with growing understanding, her own cheeks coloring as the implications settled. The mark wasn't just evidence of energy transfer. It represented something far more significant in succubus culture. "You have to take responsibility for me now," she whispered in a tone so shy it seemed to belong to a different person entirely. First energy drain creates a bond. He doesn't understand what that means. Noah paused, his enhanced intelligence processing her words with growing alarm. "Lola, it's not the time for your teasing. The prince is trying to break in outside. He thinks this is another one of my games." But Lola's playful demeanor evaporated as reality reasserted itself. Her gaze shifted toward the window, where the situation had escalated far beyond their initial confrontation. Prince Malphas no longer stood with just his 4 royal guards. Dozens of armored figures surrounded the shop in formation that spoke to serious siege tactics rather than simple arrest attempts. "This shop of yours is a treasure. Even the prince and all his guards can't break in. It's good enough. But there is still a problem. You can't leave this place. They're surrounding it completely," Noah responded. Lola nodded with acceptance that carried no trace of her usual restlessness. "It's okay. As long as I've got you as my company, I'm fine." Noah rolled his eyes, thinking that she was still teasing him. Outside, Prince Malphas's voice carried royal authority that penetrated even the shop's mystical barriers. "This siege will continue until Black Visage surrenders. No one enters or leaves." Leo walked closer to them, the juvenile lion's instincts recognizing that immediate danger had passed. His golden fur remained slightly bristled, but curiosity was overcoming his caution. "Papa, is the scary lady safe now?" Leo asked with innocent concern. "She's safe," Noah confirmed, watching Lola's expression soften as she noticed Leo's obvious worry. Chapter 130. A contract. "She's safe," Noah confirmed, watching Lola's expression soften as she noticed Leo's obvious worry. "Where did you get this golden mane? They're nearly extinct." Lola's expert gaze assessed Leo with appreciation. "He's already at apprentice rank too. Based on my knowledge, he should reach adept rank with enough nutrition and hunting." She recognizes Leo's species and potential. Makes sense for someone with her experience. "From Vex," Noah explained simply. Lola nodded with understanding. "That explains it. That Viscount has many rare things." "How did you save me?" Lola asked, her mind processing the impossibility of her survival. "The healing bread wasn't enough for that level of blood loss." "Beef jerky," Noah replied, gesturing toward the empty wrapper. "Vitality enhancement instead of healing acceleration. Different approaches to the same problem. Enhance the body's life force rather than just repair damage." Lola scanned her restored body, testing responses and energy levels. Her eyes widened with recognition as the enhancement's effects became clear. The effects, they're identical to the protein bars pattern. Her voice carried growing amazement. "This must have been expensive. How much do you want for it?" "She's calculating debt." Noah stopped looking at her, his attention shifting to the window where royal guards maintained their siege positions. "It's fine, don't worry about it. I've used it to save your life. I wasn't expecting anything." Her life was worth more than money. Simple equation. But Lola shook her head with stubborn determination. "I refuse to accept charity, especially not something that valuable." Succubus pride. She won't accept gifts without reciprocation. Noah thought about it before sighing. "Just give me whatever you want. If it makes her feel better about being saved, fine." Lola checked her dimensional storage with careful consideration. "You're a swordsman, aren't you? I've seen you fighting those fireflies. I have a swordsmanship manual. After comprehending the full techniques, you should be able to become an adept swordsman. Price should be around 600 golden coins. Adept-level swordsmanship knowledge. That could accelerate my development significantly." "Sure," Noah agreed. Lola materialized a tome bound in midnight leather, its pages emanating subtle power. The moment she handed it over, Noah's system responded immediately. Congratulations on your first sale of beef jerky. What? That counts? I thought my chance of receiving the automaker was gone alongside the daily income. That's pretty good. Level 1 auto beef jerky is now in effect. Beef jerky income. Tier 4 swordsmanship manual. The daily income is a swordsmanship manual. That's not particularly useful. System, change it to dollars. I don't want a swordsmanship manual every day. Done. Beef jerky daily income. $60,000. Much better. I need more money. I still have to save for my next items, including that idle room. System, can you give me each item's income separately? Bread va iced tea daily income. Demonica Munberg, $5,000. Protein bar daily income. Tier 5 wind orb, $130,000. Energy drink daily income, $100,000. Beef jerky daily income, $60,000. Noah studied the breakdown with a growing understanding of his wealth accumulation. The Demonica plants were multiplying beyond usefulness. He already had 5 specimens providing enhancement. Too many plants had diminishing returns on cultivation benefits. System, change the Demonica income to dollars. With that done, I have 3 items that give me money daily. Energy drink daily income, $100,000.
Bread và iced tea daily income, $5,000.
Beef jerky daily income, $60,000. Perfect. Now I'm earning $165,000 plus a wind orb daily. The second wind orb from today's income waited in his dimensional storage, unused due to the crisis that had consumed his afternoon. 2 Tier 5 orbs representing accelerated magical development. 2 orbs, enough to push wind manipulation towards higher levels. Leo padded closer to Lola, his juvenile curiosity overcoming wariness. He's adorable, Lola observed, offering her hand for Leo's inspection. He's adorable, Lola observed, offering her hand for Leo's careful inspection. Isn't he? Named him Leo. Leo, that's a nice name. Noah's expression grew serious as he studied the siege formations outside his window. So what's your plan with those people? Lola's usual confidence wavered as she considered her options. I don't know, to be honest. I don't think I can leave. Prince Malphas's voice suddenly boomed through the mystical barriers, cutting through their conversation with a tone that made the shop's walls seem thinner. Shopkeeper Noah, return Black Visage to the royal family immediately. Otherwise, we will bring a Grandmaster to destroy this place. We promise not to hold this act against you, and will provide magical items as a reward for helping with the capture. Grandmaster, that's an escalation beyond anything I expected. Lola turned toward Noah with a smile that carried dangerous amusement despite their circumstances. They're planning to bring a Grandmaster here. That means the current king himself. He really isn't playing around. Her ruby eyes sparkled with mischief that seemed inappropriate given the gravity of their situation. What's your plan? Are you going to sell me? Noah rolled his eyes with exasperation. Don't be stupid. I wouldn't have brought you here and saved you if I had the thought of betraying you. Noah approached the window and shouted toward the royal entourage with a volume that carried across the plaza. Shut up. I don't want to hear your voice. It's irritating me. You keep barking like a dog. What kind of prince are you? Bring whatever fart you want. I'm not returning anyone. Lola's eyes widened with genuine shock as the implications hit her like a physical blow. What you just said. There's no return from this. He just declared war on the royal family. For me, Lola thought with growing shock. Noah shrugged with indifference that belied the magnitude of his decision. So be it. I'm leaving this place. Time to reveal my exit strategy. Look, do you want to come with me? I'm not staying in this kingdom. Lola's confusion was immediate and obvious. How are you planning to leave? I've got my ways. Do you want to come? But if you do, you have to sign a contract with me. Chapter 131, Lola's Past. I need you to become an employee. You'll work in the store with me. You'll have your own bedroom upstairs. You'll also be given a daily salary as products from the store. I'm broke, so I can't give you golden coins. Employee offer to a master-level succubus. This is insane. Lola's eyes widened with a shock that transcended her usual composure. The offer wasn't just employment, it was a partnership, sanctuary, and something approaching permanent alliance. He's offering me everything. Noah continued. Once you sign the contract, you'll stay with me inside the shop and help sell items at certain times based on the agreement. We can keep it part-time, you can pick flexible hours that work for you. I don't want you to stay inside the shop and have no life. Of course, you will have time to do whatever master-level mages do. Part-time employment with a master-level succubus. Some job descriptions defy conventional categories. Noah's mind reached toward his system interface with growing excitement. System, create an employee contract with part-time conditions. Flexible hours. What's the reasonable payment? You are hiring a master-level mage. Appropriate compensation from your shop inventory would be 1 unit of each product daily, including future introductions. In return, the employee must work the hours and follow commands within professional boundaries. 1 of each product daily. That's generous, but it makes sense. All right, create it. The contract materialized in Noah's hands, its pages glowing with binding magic that spoke to serious supernatural enforcement. He extended the document toward Lola with ceremony befitting life-changing decisions. Read it carefully. This isn't just a job. It's a partnership. Lola accepted the pages with hands that trembled slightly, her enhanced senses immediately detecting the magical binding woven through every clause. Her ruby eyes scanned each line with growing amazement. Daily payment. 1 healing bread, 1 iced tea, 1 protein bar, 1 energy drink, 1 beef jerky, plus any future products introduced to inventory. This is... She breathed, her voice barely a whisper. Insane. This payment package is absolutely insane. The numbers blazed through her consciousness with staggering implications. Daily access to permanent enhancement items, healing provisions, and mana restoration. This compensation was something that nobody could give her, only Noah. He's offering me wealth beyond every demon's dreams. As daily salary. Her eyes continued down the contract, discovering terms that made her breath catch. No fixed duration. Termination requiring only 1 day's notice. Work hours completely flexible based on mutual agreement. He's not trying to trap me. He's offering a genuine partnership. The contract doesn't bind you permanently, Noah explained, watching her process the generous terms. Just requires fair notice before leaving. I'm not trying to control your life. Professional courtesy rather than supernatural slavery. Lola's hands shook as the full scope of his offer crystallized. This wasn't desperate recruitment. It was someone genuinely trying to help her without expectation of excessive return. He saved my life, and now he's offering me safety, without strings attached. Noah, this payment structure. She looked up from the contract with eyes that glistened with unshed tears. This is more than generous. This is life-changing. 1 protein bar alone costs hundreds of coins. Daily access to all products represents thousands in value. You're worth it, Noah replied simply. Master-level magical expertise doesn't come cheap. He values my abilities rather than just seeing me as a charity case. Lola studied his face, searching for hidden motives or ulterior plans that would explain such extraordinary generosity. She found only genuine concern mixed with practical business sense. He actually means it. Every word. The contract says it doesn't stay in one place, she said with growing understanding. Noah nodded with confirmation that carried weight beyond simple acknowledgement. The location changes every 10 days, unless I lock the place. Where would it go exactly? Lola pressed, her mind demanding specifics for such a momentous decision. Noah shrugged with honest uncertainty. I'm not sure myself. Depends on business opportunities and safety considerations. Truth. The system determines locations based on factors I don't fully understand. Lola's ruby eyes flickered with something approaching vulnerability, an emotion rarely seen from someone of her usual confidence. Can we ever return to the demon kingdom? I have things unsettled here. Things unsettled. That phrase carries more than just casual unfinished business. Noah studied her face for several seconds, noting the subtle tension that suggested personal stakes beyond simple preference. Whatever kept her tied to this realm ran deeper than normal obligations. We can return later, but that comes with a price to pay, he replied carefully. If it's really urgent, we can come back. Dimensional travel isn't free. I need to spend 2,000 shop points to return. Lola's expression crumbled slightly as the weight of his offer registered fully. The casual tone couldn't disguise the expense such accommodation would represent. He's willing to pay interdimensional travel costs for my personal business. That level of commitment deserves honesty. You deserve to know why I'm asking for this, she said quietly, her usual playful demeanor replaced by something approaching solemnity. Here it comes. The truth behind her mysterious conflicts with royalty. My name isn't just Lola, she began, her voice carrying the cadence of someone revealing long-held secrets. I'm Princess Loliana Lilin, rightful heir to the demon throne. She is a princess? Actual royalty. That explains her conflicts with Prince Malphas. Noah's mind processed this revelation with growing understanding of the political complexities that had shaped their relationship. Hundreds of years ago, my family ruled this kingdom with wisdom and justice. Lola continued, her eyes distant with memory. The Lilin dynasty had maintained peace for centuries. Peaceful rule was overthrown. Political tragedy. But one of the heads of the strongest noble families, King Malthian, Malphas's father, orchestrated a coup through betrayal and assassination. Her voice hardened with controlled fury. He murdered my parents during a supposed peace negotiation with the elves. I was 12 years old, hidden in the palace's secret passages when the slaughter began. Lola whispered, her usual confidence replaced by haunting vulnerability. Chapter 132. Contract signed. 12 years old. A child witnessing her family's destruction. The loyal guards smuggled me out while the palace burned, she continued, crimson tears gathering in her eyes. I've spent years in exile, building strength to reclaim what was stolen. Years of preparation. That explains her master-level abilities and knowledge. Every attack on the current royal family is an attempt to weaken their hold on my family's throne, Lola explained, her voice carrying the weight of generational conflict. But I'm not strong enough yet to face King Malthian directly. She's been conducting a one-woman war against superior forces. Incredible dedication. When I first approached you, it was because of a prophecy that the bearer would help restore the rightful heir. That's why I've tested you initially, she admitted with growing emotion. I hoped you might be the one foretold to help me reclaim my birthright. There is a prophecy. But seeing your weak power and kindness, Lola's voice broke slightly. I realized I didn't want to use you for my vendetta. You deserve better than being dragged into a war that isn't yours. Noah's mouth twitched. Weakness. That's rude, but true. The weight of her revelation settled between them like a bridge toward understanding. Noah finally comprehended the true scope of what he'd stumbled into. Not just random criminal activity, but the last princess of a fallen dynasty fighting to reclaim her heritage. Royal exile seeking restoration. Her attacks on Prince Malphas weren't terrorism. They were legitimate attempts to weaken a usurper's hold on stolen power. I accept, Lola whispered, her voice carrying emotion that transcended mere employment agreement. Without hesitation, she bit her finger and allowed crimson drops to fall onto the contract's signature line. Her mana flowed into the parchment as a magical binding activated with golden light that filled the shop with warm radiance. Blood and mana sealing. This becomes a permanent magical law. Congratulations. First employee has been signed. Lola. The second floor has been adjusted for enhanced privacy for employee accommodation. Daily payment will be automatically distributed upon completion of work hours. Manual payment management is unnecessary. The contract dissolved into particles of light that settled into both their consciousness. creating a permanent connection that transcended simple business arrangements. Bonded. Permanently bonded through magical employment law. Outside, Prince Malphas's voice carried renewed fury that penetrated their sanctuary with threats of escalating the response. But inside the shop, Princess Loliana Liline had chosen a new path that led away from endless war towards something approaching hope. After finalizing the contract with Lola, Noah gestured toward the staircase leading to the shop's second level. "Come on, let me show you the upstairs. It's going to be your residence after all." They climbed the stairs together, Leo bounding ahead with excitement at exploring new territory. The second floor had transformed dramatically since Noah's last visit, evolving beyond simple living quarters into something approaching luxurious accommodation. The system really did make it privacy-friendly. Loliana's designated room featured its own private bathroom, complete with amenities that seemed impossibly advanced for a medieval magical society. The design aesthetic blended comfort with functionality in ways that defied conventional architecture. Modern conveniences in a demon kingdom. The rest of the floor had been configured as a comfortable lounge area, with the idle room positioned strategically to one side. The design allowed privacy to Lola while allowing access to the idle room without disturbing her. Everything felt spacious despite the building's modest external dimensions. Dimensional expansion at work. Bigger inside than outside. Loliana examined her new quarters with obvious surprise, her ruby eyes taking in details that seemed to fascinate rather than merely impress her. "This design, I've never seen anything like it," she murmured, running her fingers along surfaces that were smoother than anything medieval craftsmanship typically produced. The succubus approached her bed with curious appreciation, settling onto the mattress to test its comfort. Her expression transformed as premium materials provided support that exceeded royal accommodations. "This is incredibly comfortable," she declared with obvious satisfaction. Then her ruby eyes fixed on Noah with familiar mischief returning to her expression. "Want to join me and test it properly?" There's the teasing. Back to normal Lola's behavior. Noah coughed awkwardly before retreating toward the staircase. "I'll leave you to get settled." Loliana's chuckle followed him down the stairs, carrying amusement at his predictable reaction to her flirtation. Some things never change. Crisis or not, she can't resist teasing. Back on the main floor, Noah began preparations for departure. Although one day remained before the system's forced relocation, current circumstances demanded immediate action. Royal siege plus a grandmaster on the way equals time to leave. But as he arrived down at the first floor, movement outside the window caught his attention. Familiar faces had joined the crowd of spectators surrounding the royal cordon. Vex, and several other regular customers. Viscount Vex stood among the gathered demons, his expression carrying genuine concern rather than mere curiosity. Precious perched behind his ear, her needle-sharp teeth clicking with obvious agitation. "They're worried about me." Actual concern from customers who've become something approaching friends. Other familiar faces dotted the crowd. Demons who'd purchased his products regularly, building relationships that transcended simple commercial transactions. Time for farewells, but careful ones that don't implicate them in my escape. Noah opened his shop window just enough to project his voice toward the gathered crowd. "Thank you all for your patronage," he called out, deliberately avoiding specific names. "Business circumstances require immediate relocation, but your support has been appreciated." Generic farewell that doesn't associate anyone with helping me escape. Vex's expression showed understanding rather than confusion. The Viscount recognized diplomatic language when he heard it. He knows I'm protecting them from royal retribution. Other customers nodded with similar comprehension, their faces carrying disappointment mixed with relief that their shopkeeper had found escape routes. They understand. Good customers who won't face consequences for my actions. But as Noah prepared to activate the system's relocation function, new commotion erupted outside. The royal guards snapped to attention, suggesting someone of ultimate authority had arrived. Chapter 133, Grandmaster's Arrival. A figure emerged from the dispersing crowd with a presence that dominated the whole crowd. Power radiated from his body like heat from a furnace, and every demon in the vicinity lowered their heads in respect immediately. The only demon grandmaster, king of the demon realm, the ruler of the entire demon kingdom, had arrived personally, his expression carrying fury that transcended mere royal displeasure. This was an existential threat to his authority. No negotiations, no diplomatic solutions. He's here to end this permanently. Without a preamble or royal pronouncement, the Grandmaster raised his hand. Magical energy began coalescing around his fingers with density that made the air itself groan under pressure. He's not talking. He's attacking immediately. System, Noah shouted with desperate urgency. Transport us to Esta. Now. Although he had faith in the system's power and his safety, he knew that the surrounding area would be affected. Noah didn't want that to happen. 2,000 shop points. Get us out of here. Emergency relocation activated. Destination: Esta Kingdom. Cost: 2,000 shop points. Initiating transport. The world dissolved into swirling energy as dimensional barriers collapsed around them. Noah felt the familiar sensation of portal travel, but amplified beyond anything he'd experienced before. Lola walked beside him as the transport effect encompassed the shop's entire interior. Leo bounded between them with excited confusion at the sudden spatial displacement. Everyone accounted for. We're actually escaping. The king's eyes spotted the change. He immediately deactivated his attack, making it disappear. The shop building remained physically present, but its magical essence had departed entirely. What was left appeared to be ordinary architecture rather than Noah's shop. Empty shell. The real shop traveled with us. The Grandmaster frowned. To teleport with so many things, this required either a legendary treasure never seen before or power that he didn't dare imagine. Malphas. Tell me everything about this shop. I want no details left. The king looked at his son with a frown that made Malphas gulp. Yes, your highness. Malphas nodded before relaying everything. Transport complete. Welcome to Esta Kingdom. Shop relocation successful. Inside Esta, Noah found himself in the same abandoned alleyway where he'd first established his shop, the exact location where he'd met Valeria 9 days ago. Same buildings, same architectural style. But something's completely different. Surprisingly, the area was no longer abandoned. The narrow alleyway that had once been a forgotten corner of the city now bustled with commercial activity that transformed the entire atmosphere. In the 9 days I was gone, this place became a thriving marketplace. Shops lined both sides of what had been empty space, their signs and busy entrances creating a vibrant commercial district. The distinctive architectural style of the original buildings remained unchanged, but their lower floors had been completely renovated into various retail establishments. The upper floors maintained their original appearance, weathered stone and traditional Esta craftsmanship that spoke to centuries of history. But ground level had been transformed into bakeries, weapon shops, food vendors, and general merchants that catered to the city's growing population. Someone invested serious money in developing this area. I wonder why they chose this specific location. Lola looked around with obvious curiosity, her ruby eyes taking in the human kingdom's architectural differences compared to Sin City's demonic aesthetics. You've taken me to the human kingdom, huh? She asked with interest rather than concern. Is this where you come from? Noah shook his head while continuing to survey the transformed alleyway. This is the city of Esta, capital of the kingdom of Durenhold. Not my original home, but the first place my shop landed in. No, it's not where I come from. But you are indeed right, this is the human kingdom. Noah responded. Lola nodded with understanding, her attention shifting between human merchants and customers. The cultural differences were immediately apparent to her. Whether it was their clothing or the way they interacted, it was different. System, Noah thought with growing confusion. Are we really in the same location? This looks completely different. Yes, host. The exact coordinates match your previous shop location. Development occurred during your absence, hence your confusion. 9 days. They transformed an abandoned alleyway into a commercial district in 9 days. That's incredible construction speed. although it makes sense considering that magic is a thing in this world. Plus, they didn't fully renovate the place, they just adjusted what was already there. Noah approached his shop's entrance with growing anticipation. The familiar door stood ready to welcome customers, but the surrounding environment had changed beyond his recognition. Time to see how Esther reacts to my return. He opened the door, and immediately dozens of eyes turned toward him with expressions that cycled through recognition, shock, and growing excitement. They know me. That's unexpected. I don't remember serving any of them. That's the mysterious shopkeeper, one merchant called out with obvious enthusiasm. The one who freed the genius mage Kip and his sister, the legendary swordsman Alyssa. I freed them? How do they know that I freed Kip and Alyssa from slavery? The news spread through the crowd like wildfire. Several people immediately broke away from their shopping activities, running toward a section of the city with urgent purpose. It's really him, another voice confirmed. The magical bread seller. Magical bread seller. That's my reputation in human territory. I wonder what they will call me with all of the different items in store now, Noah thought with a wry smile. Noah stood frozen with confusion as recognition washed over the assembled crowd. His brief interaction with Kip and Alyssa had apparently become a legendary story during his absence. What exactly happened after I left? But the crowd's reaction shifted quickly from amazement to commercial opportunity. Human merchants and customers began approaching with eager expressions. Do you have the healing bread? One adventurer asked with desperate hope. What about the mana enhancement drinks? A mage added, his robes indicating guild affiliation. They know about my old products. Word spread far beyond my original customers. It seems like business is going to thrive in Esta. Chapter 134. Giving Back. A woman with obvious injuries on her body emerged from the crowd. Please, sir. My husband needs healing that normal potions can't provide. Our household has been affected by the growing attacks of demons. Please. Noah's mind raced through the implications as more people gathered around his shop entrance. His reputation had apparently grown during his absence, creating a customer base he hadn't expected. Lola watched the human crowd with fascination. Her expression suggested amusement at the cultural differences in shopping enthusiasm. I do have healing bread and iced tea available, Noah announced, his voice carrying over the growing crowd. Noah walked back into his shop and emerged with a loaf of bread. The woman's face brightened in happiness. She knew that the bread was by no means cheap. Thank you. Thank you so much. We will never forget this favor of yours. Noah nodded. Do you have anything you can give me for this bread? He asked, although he wasn't sure if she did. The woman's hands stopped moving towards the bread. She had thought it was an act of kindness from his side, but after asking for golden coins, she realized it wasn't. Her shoulders drooped visibly. I don't have any golden coins, sir. Noah shook his head at her response. I never asked for golden coins. I'm asking for anything. Anything you can give, even if it's a pebble on the street. I want to gain shop points whilst also helping her. A transaction is considered a transaction, no matter the price. The woman nodded excessively, rummaging through her pockets with trembling hands. After a few seconds, she found a small button she had found on the floor the other day. Does this work? She asked, extending her hands with the button on her palm. Yes, that works, Noah smiled, taking the button from her hand and exchanging it with the loaf. Thank you, sir. I will never forget your kindness. She smiled before leaving the place and heading to her injured husband. Others began approaching with desperate steps, hope written across their faces. Word had spread through the human settlements about a shopkeeper whose products could heal injuries that conventional medicine couldn't touch. And with him finally back, they rushed towards him like flies when they see food out in the open. An elderly man hobbled forward on a wooden stick that he used as a crutch, his leg bearing obvious signs of poorly healed wounds. Sir, please. The demon attacks left me unable to work. My family is starving because I can't provide for them. Noah studied the man's condition with perception that revealed malnutrition alongside his injuries. The bread would help both problems simultaneously. He needs healing and nutrition. 2 problems, 1 solution. What can you offer? Noah asked gently. The old man's face fell with embarrassment. I have this. He produced a worn leather cord from his pocket, the kind used to tie simple bundles. It's not much, but it's all I have. That works perfectly, Noah smiled, accepting the cord and handing over a golden loaf. Thank you for your business. Noah had no issue doing so. He gained shop points whilst providing help to those in need. In his eyes, it was a win-win transaction. The man's eyes filled with tears as he clutched the healing bread like sacred treasure. Bless you, sir. Truly bless you. A young mother approached next, carrying a child whose arm hung at an unnatural angle. Please, my daughter fell during the evacuation. The bone won't set properly. A broken bone that healed incorrectly. The bread should be able to correct that. What do you have to trade? Noah asked, already knowing he'd accept whatever she offered. The woman reached into her bag and produced a handful of wildflowers her daughter had picked before the injury. She wanted to give these to someone kind. Will they work? Flowers from an injured child. How could I refuse? Absolutely. Noah accepted the small bouquet with a ceremony befitting their emotional value. He took a small sniff of the makeshift bouquet before smiling. These are beautiful. They smell really good. The pattern continued as more desperate families approached. Noah established prices based on each person's circumstances rather than arbitrary monetary values. A farmer's handful of seeds bought healing for infected wounds. A seamstress's spare thread purchased recovery from demon-inflicted burns. I've made incredible money in the demon kingdom. The daily income of hundreds of thousands. I can afford generosity. Each transaction generated shop points while providing genuine aid to people who'd been caught in conflicts beyond their control. The shop points gained satisfied his business instincts while the humanitarian results fed his conscience. It's not like I'm going to do this forever, and I don't have much stock anyway. Noah glanced at his remaining inventory, roughly 10 loaves left after his generosity spree. Enough to help the most desperate cases without depleting his entire production. Limited supply means careful selection. Help those who need it most. Inside the shop, Lola watched the proceedings with fascination that transcended her usual amusement at human behavior. Her expression was that of genuine respect for Noah's approach to business ethics. The succubus had concealed herself with subtle magic that made human eyes slide past her presence without conscious recognition. Against ordinary humans with no magical sensitivity, the illusion was flawless. Lola knew that humans and demons had complicated relationships due to the extremists' attacks. In her eyes, it was better to avoid unnecessary conflicts for Noah. Her ruby eyes tracked each transaction with interest, noting how Noah evaluated each customer's needs and resources before establishing fair exchange rates. He's not just giving things away randomly. There's a method to his generosity. A blacksmith approached, his arms covered in blistered burns, red, cracked skin marred by the signature scorch of fire. The damage was fresh, the kind of injury that lingered and ruined the coordination. For a blacksmith, that meant losing their job. Chapter 135. Alyssa and Kip. Sir, the man said quietly, these wounds, they're not healing right. They're affecting my ability to work. Noah studied him without expression. What can you trade? The blacksmith reached into a small pouch and pulled out a single iron nail. It was rough, simple, but well forged. It's just practice work, he said, offering it with both hands. But it's made with honest skill. Noah's brows lowered. His voice turned sharp. You're telling me you're a blacksmith and you're offering a nail? Unless you have a very good reason for why that's the best you can provide. I won't just reject your offer. I'll make sure you never buy from me again. He folded his arms, his frown deepening. I help those who need it, not those who try to take advantage. A previously working blacksmith should have more than this. You've likely crafted dozens of weapons. Where are they? The blacksmith's eyes widened in alarm. Sir, please, let me explain. This is a misunderstanding. He bowed his head respectfully, voice low but steady. I'm just an apprentice. I've never made anything beyond Tier 1 weapons, and those I sell the moment they're finished. My earnings go straight to rent, tools, and food. I don't keep a stockpile. I barely keep anything at all. This nail was the only piece I had left. It was the first thing I've ever made. Whilst its monetary value is low, its value to me is high. A few nearby people who had overheard nodded and stepped forward. He's telling the truth, one of them said. We've seen him work. He's not a fraud. He sells everything he makes, added another. Never seen him with more than scraps in his pockets. Noah's expression shifted. The hard edge in his eyes softened. He gave a slight nod, exhaling slowly. I see. I thought you were trying to scam me. I'm sorry for the accusation. The blacksmith shook his head at once, clearly taken aback. No need to apologize, sir. You have every right to be cautious. I'm indebted to your generosity, not entitled to it. Noah nodded once more, this time with a hint of respect in his gaze. In that case, I'll give you what you need. We've got to take care of those wounds. There's no point in reforging blades if your own hands are breaking. Noah provided the blacksmith with his loaf and moved on to the next customer. But as Noah prepared to help the next customer, two familiar figures emerged from the crowd in the distance. His hand stopped midway to providing another loaf as recognition hit him like a physical blow. Alyssa. Gip. The cat girl and cat boy looked exactly as he remembered, but much more powerful. Alyssa's silver ears twitched with alertness while her lean frame carried the confident bearing of someone whose swordsmanship had reached high levels. Kip walked beside her with mana swimming around his body, power that hadn't been there during their last meeting. They've grown stronger, much stronger. Their expressions shifted from casual observation to complete shock as their enhanced senses identified the familiar human distributing magical healing. Noah! Alyssa's voice carried disbelief mixed with joy that made her entire face light up. Is that really you? Kip added, his young voice climbing several octaves with excitement. The crowd around Noah noticed the reunion developing, stepping back to provide space for what was clearly a significant personal moment. Alyssa! Kip! Noah's professional demeanor cracked completely as genuine emotion emerged. Alyssa bounded forward with feline grace, her enhanced agility carrying her through the crowd faster than human eyes could track. But she stopped just short of actual contact, uncertainty flickering across her features. She wants to hug me but doesn't know if it's appropriate. Still the same thoughtful girl. We placed some people here, just in case you came back, to inform us about your return. We gave them details on what you look like, your shop, and what you sell, she explained. That's touching and terrifying. Noah will give the last loaf before ending the charity giveaway. The remaining crowd watched with anticipation as Noah reached for his final healing loaf. A young woman with a bandaged leg stepped forward, her hopeful expression mixed with the resignation of someone accustomed to disappointment. Last one, Noah announced, handing her the golden bread with the same care he'd shown every previous recipient. Make sure to eat it all. End of charity supplies. Time to focus on the reunion with my old friends. The woman accepted the loaf with gratitude that transcended mere words, clutching the magical healing like the treasure it essentially was. Around them, the crowd began dispersing with satisfied murmurs about witnessing genuine generosity. That's all for today, Noah called to the remaining hopefuls. I'll be back tomorrow with more supplies. Noah gestured toward his shop entrance, noting how Alyssa and Kip's enhanced senses were already scanning the building because of its new changes. Come inside. We have a lot to catch up on. Alyssa and Kip followed him through the entrance, their movements those of experienced adventurers who'd learned to watch each other's backs. The transformation from worried children to capable warriors was remarkable. What's more shocking to Noah was that it had happened in 9 days. In those 9 days that he was gone, Alyssa and Kip had grown even more terrifying than him. They've grown into proper fighters. It seems like Valera's training alongside the academy has paid off. But the moment the door closed behind them, both cat siblings froze with battle-ready tension. Their senses had detected something that triggered immediate combat instincts. Alyssa's hand moved to her sword hilt with fluid grace while mana began crackling around Kip's fingers. Both had achieved adept rank capabilities that made them genuinely formidable opponents. In the corner of the shop, Lola remained seated with that familiar predatory smile that suggested she found their reaction entertaining rather than threatening. "Demon," Alyssa hissed. Her silver ears flattened against her skull in aggressive display. Chapter 136. Catching Up with the Twins. "Master-level aura," Kip added, his young voice carrying deadly serious analysis. "Very dangerous." Both siblings shifted into combat stances with synchronized precision that spoke to countless hours of joint training. Alyssa's blade emerged from its sheath while Kip's magic intensified into visible energy patterns. "Wait!" Noah stepped between them immediately, his speed allowing him to intercept their assault preparations. "Stop! She's with me." Alyssa's eyes widened with confusion rather than compliance. "Noah, that's a demon. A powerful one. Master-level succubus," Kip corrected, despite knowing her power. That didn't reduce his readiness. "She is extremely dangerous to humans." "I know what she is," Noah replied with calm authority. "Her name is Lola, and it's complicated." Lola's smile widened with obvious amusement at the description. "Complicated. I like that. Lola, you are not helping defuse the situation. Stop." Noah rolled his eyes at her remarks. "Noah," Alyssa said carefully, her sword remaining drawn but not actively threatening. "What do you mean she's with you? How do I explain succubus politics, royal conflicts, and the extremists?" "It's a long story," Noah began diplomatically. Kip's magical aura flickered with uncertainty. After explaining everything, such as his visit to the Demon Kingdom, Lola's help with his shop and his growing power, the twins sort of understood. "Long story short," Noah continued, "the important thing is that Lola isn't a threat. She's been protective, actually." Lola's expression softened slightly at the description, though her predatory smile remained firmly in place. "You trust her?" Alyssa asked with the directness that had always characterized her approach to complicated situations. Noah glanced toward Lola, remembering her refusal to enter his shop until forced by mortal injury and his action of bringing her inside, her concern about involving him in royal politics, and her willingness to die rather than compromise his safety. "Do I trust her? That's actually a good question." "Yes," he said simply. "I trust her." "I can't believe this. The demons are not our enemies. There are extremists among them and they attack both of our kingdoms. Also, I can't believe that there are people with power inside Esta who are benefiting from this. Despicable people." Alyssa's voice carried genuine anger that went beyond her usual composed demeanor. The revelation that their kingdom's war was built on manipulation rather than genuine demon aggression had shaken her worldview completely. Noah nodded in agreement. "The problem is that I still don't know who is behind them. All I know is that they must be people of power. Political corruption at the highest levels. There are always people who benefit from perpetual war between kingdoms." Kip's young face twisted with disgust. "Using innocent deaths for profit. That's evil beyond anything. I've tried to gather more information, but it was difficult," Noah promised. "For now, we need to focus on what we can control here." Lola had remained unusually quiet during the political discussion, her ruby eyes tracking the conversation with interest rather than her typical amusement. She's evaluating them, probably deciding whether they're trustworthy allies. "Enough politics for now," Noah decided, shifting to lighter topics. "Tell me about your training. How have you both progressed?" Alyssa's expression brightened with pride mixed with determination. "I've reached the adept level in swordsmanship and been accepted as a core member in Valeria's guild. Adept rank. She's advanced significantly since I left. And I've achieved adept rank in elemental magic," Kip added with obvious satisfaction. "My fire magic can now create sustained flame constructs." Both siblings advancing rapidly. Their potential was always extraordinary. "That's incredible progress," Noah said with genuine admiration. "You're both becoming formidable." A golden blur suddenly emerged from behind Noah's legs, drawing startled gasps from both siblings. Leo bounded forward with typical enthusiasm. his small size making him appear harmless despite his nature. "Papa, who are these people?" Leo asked with innocent curiosity. "Leo, meet Alyssa and Kip," Noah explained. "They're dear friends of mine." Both siblings stared at the talking lion with expressions that cycled through shock, amazement, and growing delight. "He's adorable," Alyssa exclaimed, her warrior composure cracking completely. "I've seen one of his species in the academy before. That's golden mane lion cub," Kip breathed with excitement. "I've read about them but never seen one in person. They are extremely good at hunting, whilst having an immense potential of reaching the adept or master rank under good conditions. They recognize his species. Impressive education at the Magical Academy." Leo preened under their attention, his tail wiggling with pleasure. "I like them, Papa. Can I pet him?" Alyssa asked with the enthusiasm of someone encountering legendary cuteness. "Leo decides that," Noah replied diplomatically. The juvenile lion bounded toward Alyssa with obvious approval, allowing her to scratch behind his ears while purring like an oversized house cat. "His magical aura is incredible," Kip observed with analytical fascination. "He's only juvenile stage but already carries apprentice-level power." "Leo's special," Noah agreed, watching his companion bask in the attention. Alyssa and Kip nodded in agreement. Alyssa looked around the transformed space with obvious amazement, her eyes tracking the elegant display cases, expanded floor area, and professional lighting that made Noah's shop feel like a legitimate magical establishment. "This place looks incredible," she exclaimed. "It's completely different from when we last visited. You must have expanded a lot." "Business growth required improvements," Noah replied with satisfaction at her reaction. He moved toward his premium product displays, retrieving 2 protein bars. "Here, take these. They're nutritional supplements that will help with your training. You guys are still young and growing. You need all the good stuff you can take." Noah offered 1 bar to each sibling with a smile on his face. Lola's ruby eyes widened with genuine shock as she watched him distribute legendary tier enhancement items like casual snacks. Her expression carried disbelief that someone would give away items worth Tier 5 treasure status for free. He's giving them protein bars worth Tier 5 artifacts like their cabbage. This man's generosity defies all logic. Insane. Chapter 137. Protein Bar. "Thank you," Alyssa said politely, unwrapping her bar. Kip followed suit, examining the unusual texture and subtle glow before taking his first bite. The effects hit both siblings as they simultaneously gulped down the bites. Their eyes widened in shock as power flooded through their systems like liquid lightning. The strength stored inside the bar multiplied their existing strength. Their attributes increased, adjusting to accommodate the improvement. The protein bars are working exactly as intended. What is this?" Alyssa gasped, staring at her hands as if they belonged to someone else. "I feel incredible," Kip breathed, his young voice carrying awe. Lola stepped forward with a soft, satisfied smile on her face, clearly enjoying their shocked expressions. "Those are protein bars that provide permanent strength enhancement plus temporary 50% improvement. Each one is worth approximately 1,000 golden coins. Here comes the price reveal. This should be entertaining," Lola thought, a soft smile on her face. Both siblings froze as the astronomical figure registered. Kip's face went pale while Alyssa's mouth fell open with horror. 1,000 golden coins? Kip shrieked, immediately sticking his finger down his throat. "I need to vomit this up. There's a fortune in my stomach." Noah stepped forward with gentle laughter, stopping Kip's desperate attempts at regurgitation. "It's fine. Don't worry about the cost. I have more coming. Besides, if you vomit it out, it will only mess up the store floor. It's not like I will be able to sell it after that. Haha." Both siblings stared at him with expressions that cycled through gratitude and amazement. "Noah," Alyssa whispered, her usual confidence replaced by shy appreciation. We can't accept gifts this valuable." Everything they've achieved could be attributed to Noah's help. Kip nodded frantically. You saved our lives, introduced us to Princess Alara and Valeria, gave us opportunities we never could have earned alone, and now this. Recognition of compound generosity. Some friendships involve serious investment. You've changed our entire lives, Alyssa continued, her voice carrying emotion that made her composure crack completely. We owe you everything. Thank you, she said shyly, the words carrying weight that transcended simple gratitude. Noah nodded with a soft smile before walking to the twins and rubbing their heads with each hand. You guys deserve that much. You've suffered a lot. Alyssa and Kip lowered their heads, fighting back tears. Noah was right, they had suffered a lot since they were young. Some investments pay dividends in human development rather than monetary returns. Lola observed this exchange with a growing understanding of Noah's character. His generosity toward allies revealed principles that transcended simple profit maximization. Suddenly, the shop door opened with familiar energy that made Noah's face brighten with genuine joy. Valeria and Princess Alara entered together, their expressions carrying urgency mixed with relief. Noah, you're back. Alara's voice carried the excitement of someone who'd missed a valued friend. Noah smiled warmly at their arrival. Good to see you both again. My first friends in this world. Feels good to have them here. But their expressions shifted immediately as they noticed Lola's presence. The succubus sat casually beside Noah, her ruby eyes sparkling with amusement at the human's obvious discomfort. Here we go again. Valeria's hand drifted toward her sword hilt with wariness. Noah, who is? It's complicated, Noah interrupted gently. Lola sighed at the predictable encounter, her usual confidence dimmed by recognition of the problems her presence created. I'm causing you a lot of trouble, aren't I? She glanced toward Noah. Maybe I should have stayed on the second floor. Noah shook his head firmly. It's fine. This is a misunderstanding that needs clearing up anyway. Time to explain everything. Hope they can handle the truth. This is Lola, Noah began carefully. She's a master-level succubus who's been helping me in the Demon Kingdom. She taught many things about magic, combat, and the conflict between our kingdoms. It isn't what we think it is. Alara kept her expression neutral despite obvious shock. What do you mean? Can you explain? The demons aren't our true enemies, Noah continued, watching their faces carefully. How can they not be our enemies? They are literally attacking our kingdom as we speak. Alara frowned. Noah nodded. I haven't finished explaining. What I wanted to say is, there is a radical faction called extremists attacking both sides to maintain permanent warfare. Someone's profiting from the conflict while both kingdoms suffer. Princess Alara's composure cracked as the implications hit her. As heir to the throne, she'd witnessed her father's frustrated peace attempts and growing desperation to end the bloodshed. Extremists manipulating both sides, Alara repeated slowly. That would explain why every peace initiative fails. But how do you know this? I've encountered them personally. They attacked me and Lola during a trip outside the city. They're powerful, organized, and completely hostile to both humans and demons that do not follow their ideals. They think that humans are a lesser species and that they should be enslaved or killed. Fortunately, the demons didn't agree with their ideologies. This led to their banishment from the Demon Kingdom, and ever since then, they've been attacking both sides. Valeria's mind immediately grasped the truth behind Noah's words. If this is accurate, it means some of our noble families might be benefiting from continued warfare. Precisely what I'm thinking, Noah confirmed. Someone's making money while people die needlessly. Alara nodded in understanding, although she was still curious about something. How come she speaks the human tongue? Demons were known to be unable to learn our language. Good question. Language barriers were supposed to be absolute. She's a master-level mage, Noah explained with a casual shrug. She learned from listening to me speak. Something about mana signatures making language comprehension possible. Alara nodded with acceptance. Master-level practitioners operated beyond normal limitations in most areas. But her attention shifted as she spotted the abundant iced tea display. Her expression brightened with obvious recognition and anticipation. Her favorite product. Some things never change. Chapter 138. Back to business. I want to buy those. All of them. Elara smiled with royal decisiveness. Before Noah could respond, Valeria interrupted with competitive urgency. Sorry, princess, but I need to buy some too. My guild needs those enhancement effects too. We've been venturing out lately. Calm down, both of you. Noah intervened with diplomatic authority. Each of you can have 24 pieces. You can have bread as well, but this can't be hoarded. These resources must go toward protecting people. Of course, both women replied simultaneously, their competitive tension dissolving into a shared purpose. They settled into comfortable conversation as the shop's atmosphere relaxed into familiar patterns. But Elara's enhanced magical perception immediately detected the unusual energy emanating from Noah's corner displays. These are incredible, she breathed, studying moon and star with obvious fascination. I've never seen anything like these plants. The mana ambient they're producing is extraordinary. Noah's memory sparked with sudden recollection. His storage ring contained gifts he'd been saving for exactly this reunion. Perfect timing. I kept some Demonica Moonbergs specifically for them. I got you both something, Noah announced, reaching into his dimensional storage with anticipation. He withdrew 2 perfectly cultivated Demonica Moonbergs, their silvery leaves shimmering with contained mana that made both women's magical senses tingle with recognition. He had kept the Demonicas as his daily income stream instead of the $5,000 for this moment. He knew that they were going to like the gift. These are for you, Noah said, presenting 1 plant to each woman. They'll enhance your magical development slightly. You guys are already at the adept rank, so they will barely help you. Elara accepted her gift with a large smile on her face. Thank you for the gift. Valeria studied her plant with personal gratitude. This will be an amazing addition to the guild's headquarters. Thanks again. After handing the girls their 2 gifts, Noah turned back to the twin cats. Here you go, take this. It will help you, Noah said casually, withdrawing the wind orb from his storage ring, as if he were offering candy rather than legendary treasure. The orb itself was modest in size, no larger than a child's fist, but the energy contained within made the air itself seem more alive. Even after Noah's extensive use for training, the concentration of wind essence remained staggering. The amount of wind concentration in that orb was astounding. Kip's young face went completely pale as he recognized the item that Noah was handing him. His hands trembled as they accepted the small orb, his magical senses screaming warnings about the sheer power he now held. A Tier 5 orb. They only have 2 at the academy. Elara's royal composure cracked entirely, her mouth falling open in undisguised shock. As someone with access to the kingdom's greatest treasures, she understood exactly what Noah had just casually given away. Noah, that's a Tier 5 elemental orb? She whispered, her voice carrying the tone of someone witnessing the impossible. Her shock was reasonable. The item that Noah was casually giving away was a treasure that the Academy of Esta treated like precious pearls that appeared once every millennium. Valeria's instincts recognized legendary equipment when she saw it, her experienced eyes tracking the wind swirling within the sphere. Her guild had attempted to acquire such artifacts for years without success. Those are worth their amount in blood, she breathed, her usual confident demeanor replaced by genuine awe. Alyssa's reaction was the most dramatic. The young swordswoman lunged forward with a desperate, urgent look on her face, her hands reaching for the orb as panic overwhelmed her rational thought. Master and Noah, this is too much, she fumbled, trying to take the artifact from Kip's trembling grasp. You can't just give away something this valuable. But Noah shook his head with gentle firmness, his expression carrying the patience of someone who'd grown accustomed to such reactions. This is his belonging now. I gave it to him, Noah stated with a tone that brooked no argument. He told me he's an elemental mage with wind affinity. He'll need this more than anyone else here. Kip's young voice cracked with emotion as he struggled to process the magnitude of the gift. But Master Noah, at the academy, only the top students get to use these for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. And that's considered the highest honor that very few have gotten in the past century. Lola observed the scene from her position near the counter, her ruby eyes sparkling with amusement at everyone's reactions. Having witnessed Noah's casual use of legendary artifacts for basic training, she found their shock both understandable and entertaining. If those two girls knew about the protein bar that he had fed the twin cats earlier, they'd probably faint. The Academy of Sina hoards their 2 orbs like religious relics, Alara added, her royal education providing context for the artifact's true rarity. Students compete for years just to touch one briefly. Valeria nodded with grim understanding. My guild's been trying to acquire even a damaged orb that's a tier 3 for 20 years. The waiting lists span decades. 20 years of effort just to buy one lower-tier orb. Noah's response sent another shockwave through the assembled group. It's really fine. I have another one for myself too. Without ceremony, he withdrew a second wind orb from his storage ring, its energy signature higher than the first. The casual revelation that he possessed multiple tier 5 artifacts made the room fall into stunned silence. 2 tier 5 orbs. He has 2 of them. Don't worry about it. Noah continued with the same nonchalant tone he might use to discuss the weather. Use it well. When you need another one, come and ask me. I'll give you one. He's offering unlimited access to artifacts that kingdoms fight wars over. He patted Kip's head with gentle affection, the gesture so normal it created surreal contrast with the legendary treasure the boy still clutched. Alara stood there shocked, unable to utter a word. The training she had gotten as a royal had prepared her for many diplomatic situations, but the casual distribution of priceless artifacts wasn't covered. Her magical senses confirmed these weren't replicas or inferior copies. They were genuine tier 5 elemental orbs of the highest quality. Chapter 139 Power. Alyssa continued staring at the orb in her brother's hands with an expression that mixed joy for his opportunity with terror about the responsibility. Kip himself remained frozen, his young mind struggling to process the magnitude of what had just occurred. The artifact in his hands represented advancement opportunities that could reshape his entire development. Use them for training, Noah added casually. The essence will help you understand wind magic at the deepest levels. Seeing Noah's gifting power and the way he was casually handing out legendary artifacts, Valeria looked at him with renewed curiosity. How has your sword training been? She asked, her green eyes studying him. Her gaze recognized the significant changes in Noah. Just a few days ago, he was unable to use magic, unable to hold a sword, and only had bread in his store. Now, he was someone else entirely. Noah smiled with satisfaction that transcended mere confidence. It's been all right. Why don't we test it? Valeria suggested, her expression carrying the enthusiasm of a master eager to evaluate her student's progress. Sure. Noah nodded without hesitation. Help from an adept swordsman is always appreciated. Time to see how far I've actually come. Before they could leave for training, Noah's gaze shifted toward Lola, who stood quietly observing their preparations. The succubus's presence created obvious complications for visiting the human kingdom. What about her? Noah asked, gesturing toward Lola while addressing Valeria and Alara. How can we hide her identity as a demon? Horns and a tail make the demon identification pretty obvious. Lola simply smiled with her usual confidence. Don't worry about me. You can go enjoy yourself and catch up with your friends. I'll stay upstairs. Noah shook his head with immediate rejection of that plan. No, you should come with us. Check out the human kingdom, you might like it. Lola felt something shift in her chest as his words registered. The human standing before her didn't want her to be lonely. He'd brought her to another place, akin to another world, and was ensuring she felt included rather than abandoned. Furthermore, that kiss, the memory of their intimate contact, even born from medical necessity, carried a meaning that transcended simple saving. The bond between them made her senses tingle. He's treating me like someone who matters rather than a convenient ally, Lola thought. She had never felt this way in her long years of living. As a master-level mage who had breathtaking beauty, she knew that had she been acting the way she had with anyone other than Noah, they would have already made a move against her. But Noah didn't. Valeria and Alara exchanged glances before nodding with understanding. "We can provide a cloak," Valeria offered, producing a hooded garment from her storage space. "This should cover the horns and tail," Alara added. "Keep the hood up and avoid drawing attention." A simple solution for obvious problems. The cloak settled over Lola's distinctive features with concealing effectiveness. Her horns disappeared beneath the fabric while her tail remained hidden under the garment's length. "Perfect disguise," Noah declared with satisfaction. They departed for Valeria's guild with Leo bounding alongside Noah's group, the juvenile lion's excitement infectious as he explored new territory. The Silver Wolf Guild's headquarters appeared ahead. Time to test my actual combat development. The guild's training area featured spacious sparring grounds equipped with various practice weapons and enchantments. Other guild members paused their activities to watch as Valeria led Noah toward the central dueling circle. "Standard rules," Valeria announced, drawing her blade with fluid precision. "First to land 3 decisive strikes or force surrender wins." Noah drew the zealous quick blade, feeling its familiar weight enhanced by his improved attributes and magical development. The Tier 2 weapon was no longer the wooden weapon. Valeria had rejected his choice of wooden swords, saying that they were now past that point. They both knew when a strike was lethal or not. "Time to see how far I've actually progressed." The initial exchanges revealed immediate changes in Noah's combat effectiveness. His footwork carried the confidence that hadn't existed during their previous training sessions, while his blade work demonstrated accuracy that surprised even Valeria. Clang, clang. Steel met steel with percussion as they tested each other's capabilities. But within minutes, Valeria's experienced eye-detected advancement that defied normal progression timelines. "His form has improved dramatically, and that's not just technique. You've progressed beyond novice rank," Valeria observed between strikes, her tone carrying genuine amazement. "Your power output suggests near apprentice-level capability." "I've been practicing," Noah replied while parrying another assault. Understatement. Magical enhancement changes everything. But what truly shocked Valeria was the subtle energy flowing through Noah's movements. His strikes carried power that exceeded purely physical enhancement. He was channeling aura with competency that typically required months of dedicated training. He's using aura manipulation. How did he learn that so quickly? Furthermore, Valeria continued, her attacks intensifying as she probed his defensive capabilities. "You're channeling aura effectively. That's an advanced technique for someone at your experience level." After several more exchanges, Valeria stepped back with an expression that mixed respect and curiosity. "Use all of your power. I want to see your complete combat potential." "All my power. Does she mean?" Noah paused, his enhanced intelligence processing the implications. "My magic, you mean?" Valeria nodded with obvious anticipation. "Everything. Magic, aura, techniques. Show me what you're really capable of." "All right," he nodded. Noah's stance changed as he activated wine manipulation alongside his aura enhancement. The air around his blade began moving with visible currents while his entire combat presence transformed. Clang. Whoosh. The difference was immediate. Noah's attacks carried elemental force that made Valeria's eyes widen with genuine shock. His speed increased through wind-enhanced movement while his strikes generated atmospheric pressure. This is apprentice-rank combat effectiveness. From someone who is only at the novice rank. Incredible, you're competing at apprentice level while being a novice. Valeria breathed as she defended against Noah's sword work and elemental magic. Chapter 140, Lola's Exploring the Human Kingdom. The sparring match concluded with mutual respect rather than a decisive victory. "Your progress is remarkable," Valeria declared with professional admiration. "Most practitioners require years to develop what you've achieved in weeks." Noah was crossing ranks. He was fighting at a level above his own. Even Alyssa and Kip weren't able to do that at the novice stage. Despite their incredibly fast progress and domination of those at their level, they were unable to cross-rank fight as exaggeratedly as Noah. Lola watched from the sidelines, her ruby eyes tracking every movement with obvious approval. The human who'd saved her life was proving himself capable of surviving the dangers their partnership might bring. After the training ended, Noah showed Lola around the human kingdom with the enthusiasm of someone sharing his homeland with a valued guest. The group moved through Durenhold streets like an unlikely diplomatic mission. A succubus master mage, a princess, a guild captain, 2 cat siblings, and an interdimensional merchant exploring human culture together. This is probably the strangest tour group this kingdom has ever seen. Try this, Noah encouraged, offering Lola a pastry from a local bakery whose reputation had survived generations of taste tests. Lola bit into the human delicacy with careful curiosity, her ruby eyes widening as unexpected flavors registered. This is remarkably good. Human cuisine tastes really good, although it's not as good as your loaf of bread. Alara and Valeria had initially maintained a careful distance from the succubus, their instincts warning against casual interaction with master-level demons. But Lola's genuine interest in human culture, combined with her obvious care for Noah's interests and recommendations, had gradually worn down their suspicions. "The spices are fascinating," Lola continued, examining the pastry with appreciation. "Humans combine flavors in ways that demons rarely consider." They progressed through the kingdom's highlights. Beautiful fountains where clear water danced in patterns that delighted children and adults alike. Entertainment districts where bards performed stories that had echoed through generations. Markets where vendors hawked everything from practical goods to exotic trinkets. Water manipulation for purely aesthetic purposes, Lola observed as they paused beside an elaborate fountain. Demons use magic for power or survival. This is beautiful without being functional. Different perspectives on magical application. Demons focus on utility, and humans create art. Valeria found herself genuinely enjoying the succubus's company despite every warrior instinct screaming caution. "You're not what I expected from a master-level demon." "What did you expect?" Lola asked with genuine curiosity. "More arrogance," Valeria replied honestly. "Someone who viewed humans as insects." Lola's laugh carried surprising warmth. "Power without purpose is just destruction." Alara studied their demon guest with royal fascination that transcended diplomatic protocol. "Your magical control is remarkable. I can sense the power that could level districts, yet you move through crowds without affecting anyone." "Control is the difference between a master and a disaster," Lola replied with obvious pride. "Most can unleash destruction. Few can contain it perfectly." She's demonstrating restraint as a form of showing off. Classic master-level behavior. As they walked through the market district, Lola suddenly nudged Noah with a subtle touch that immediately caught his attention. "Ha!" He turned to see what she wanted. "Something wrong?" His voice dropped to a whisper as he noticed the tension in her posture. She nodded discreetly. "That man over there, he has demonic energy around him. He's been near demons before." "Demonic energy. That's concerning on multiple levels." Noah followed her gaze toward a well-dressed noble examining silk fabrics. Immediately, he recognized the man in front of him. Baron Richard, the man who enslaved Kip and Alyssa. Noah's mind immediately began calculating implications while fighting the urge to jump to immediate conclusions. What if he's been fighting against them? He could use that excuse and we'd never be able to prove otherwise. He'll become more cautious if he knows we're suspicious. Need evidence, not assumptions. Accusations against nobility require proof. Lola shook her head with certainty that suggested deeper knowledge than simple energy detection. "I'm not talking about fighting demons. The energy signature is different. Let's just say he's been having intimate relations with some demons." Noah's eyes widened. Intimate contact with demons suggested collaboration rather than conflict, especially given the Baron's history with slavery and exploitation. That almost confirms his connection to the extremists. "But I still can't accuse a noble without solid evidence." Someone needs to keep an eye on him, Noah murmured, his mind already formulating surveillance strategies. I can't accuse a noble family without concrete proof. And I certainly can't use you as a valid source of information. He smiled wryly. A succubus's testimony against human nobility. That would create more problems than solutions. His smile carried wry acknowledgement of political realities that complicated even obvious conclusions. Rather than attempting direct confrontation that could alert their target, Noah turned toward the one person present with both authority and resources to handle noble investigations properly. Time to let royalty handle what requires royal power. Elara. After explaining the situation to Elara, she frowned with the expression of someone whose worst suspicions were being confirmed. It was true, somebody had indeed been working with the extremists. She didn't doubt Noah's words. Why would he lie after all? Furthermore, he was telling her to investigate. He wasn't outright telling her to kill him, which ruled out the reason of revenge for enslaving the twin cats from her mind. Besides, she knew Noah wouldn't resort to that. He could simply wipe out the Baron with his own power. With a master-level demon next to him, there were very few that could stop him, and they wouldn't be there to. Her royal training had prepared her to recognize threats to the kingdom, and collaboration between nobility and demon extremists represented exactly the kind of internal corruption that could destroy them from within. I'll definitely investigate this matter, she declared. Her eyes tracked Baron Richard's movements with scrutiny, cataloging every gesture and interaction for future analysis. The casual way he moved through the market, his expensive clothing, his obvious comfort with public visibility, all of it would be noted and investigated. We'll need to be subtle, Elara continued, her voice dropping to ensure their conversation remained private. If he's truly working with extremists, alerting him could compromise ongoing operations. Noah nodded with appreciation for her measured response. Exactly my concern. Better to gather evidence quietly than force him underground.